Well, hello everybody. Hey, guess what? I am having a celebration tonight. Although it hasn't officially started yet because I am 250 views away from 1 million views. 250. That's it. Actually, it's less than that. It's actually 246 or something. Um, but this hangout, we will get over a million views for this channel. It took 5 years to get a million views, something like Reds did in one fucking day. Fuck you, Reds. Um, he has one
It took
video.
a lot of blowjobs to make that
He has
happen.
one video that has more views than my entire fucking channel. Okay, but anyways, I'm happy that
Lots
I
of
got
blowjobs.
lots and a couple hand jobs too.
That's true.
I am very happy that I got to a million views. The Non Sequitur Show has 1.5 million views, over 1.5 million views. It did that in 6 months. But this channel, my main channel, the one you guys known for a long time, for 5 years, I've had it. I've only been really broadcasting for about two or three, somewhere in that ballpark. But it's at a million views, or will be at the end of this Rum and Coke night. If you all help me out, watch this, send it out, tweet it out, put it on Facebook, put it on G Plus, put it on the bumper sticker of your mother's Oldsmobile. I don't care. Just get the link out there. Have people come watch. We've got Reds Rhetoric with us, and we also have Michael Garrett. If you guys don't know who he is, probably you won't know who he is because he's a friend of mine on Facebook. But he's like an official DJ dude, like the shit. He does like the high end type stuff. So get on his good side because if you ever want to get into music, he might have some, you know, ways to get you in there. So, but anyways, Michael, introduce yourself first because you haven't been on Remember McCoke before, and I'm so finally glad you're finally able to get in here. I know we've been
Right.
trying, but you busy dude.
I'm incredibly busy, dude. I've got a huge background. I was quizzing Steve earlier on his Navy career. I'm former Navy myself, was an aircraft mechanic for the Navy. I went into the fire service. I'm a radiological nuclear response specialist for the fire service and emergency management. I do audio production. I do graphics. I do woodworking. Um, I'm into creation, not the biblical kind. I think that's bullshit. I've got my fingers in a little bit of everything. I'm also an admin over at the Atheistically Speaking TM Facebook. Shameless plug there.
Yeah, you went through
Come
some
over
of
and
the
check
training
us
for
out.
radiological controls for your firefighting. When firefighters have to learn special radiological controls for handling radioactive fires, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Any type of response, basic principles of ALARA, keeping exposure as low as reasonably possible, understanding radiometric decay is huge. You can't clean something up if you don't know how long it takes to break down. So, all the people that talk about the inability to use radiometric dating, that is radiation 101. You can't do anything if you don't know what decay rates are.
It's funny you mentioned that because on DEF CON 1 Science today, we were talking about polonium halos, and Landon Kurt Knoll, who was a mathematician, he and I actually derived the function for radiometric decay, the nt equals n sub 0 e raised to the gamma t. We actually derived that. We actually got that from doing a differential equation from using the decay constant with respect to time. So we actually showed somebody not just how to use like the Pert equation. People know that for compound interest. That one people learn in high school, but how to get to that using a actual differential equation they've never done before. So you're right. You have to know how things decay. You have to have understanding radiological controls. You have to understand time, distance, shielding, and if it's a point source, line source, plane source, they all have different maths involved to calculate. If it's,
Well, the
if
big
it's
one that I've noticed when I talk to creationists and theists, they're not even to the point of understanding the differences between alpha, beta, gamma,
oh no,
and nuclear.
well, not you're the run of the mill creationist, right?
They,
Not your
they don't,
general. I mean, if you go to Dr. Humphreys, he's going to know these things, but right. But
right.
the average creationist we get on these channels, shit, no, they don't. Oh my God, my bestie old buddy's coming in here, Chucky, Chucky, Chucky. Let me see that beautiful face of yours, Mike.
Bitch, I thought I was your bestie.
No, Chucky,
Hey,
I'm no
what's
Chucky.
up?
Dude, you got old. No, you look
Shit
great.
happens.
Oh my God, how long has it been? Yeah, you've been in the military for not 3 years now, I think, right?
Nah, a year and
No, it's
six
not. It's
months.
longer than that, dude.
Shit, yeah, it has been over a year. Shit.
Well over a year. So you're enjoying it? And I don't mean to put Michael on hold for a sec, but I haven't talked to Chucky in ages. He's like was in my very first hangout, my very first anti-creationist. He was like, you still keep a track of your do your biological genetic stuff that you used to do, Chucky?
Yeah, I always keep my notes on there, so
Awesome.
that never leaves.
So how come you don't drop by more often? I mean, you haven't been around in a year and a half, dude. You know I
Oh
miss
my
you.
god. This fucking job. Holy shit. If you're not hungover, you're not doing it right.
Hey, Michael, we both were military. We know in the military, drinking is a prerequisite. Is
Oh,
a
yes.
requirement, part of your job function. If not, you're going to lose your goddamn mind. So
It's
I warned
survival.
Chucky about that.
What
Yeah.
branch did you go, Chucky?
Army.
Army? Have you ever been to Fort Leonard Wood?
No. I've been in Benning. Then I went to, what was it? Fuck, I'm so fucking hungover, I forgot. But I'm in
I
Camp
haven't got
Humphreys.
that yet. I just popped this though, man. I
Sweet.
just got out of the fridge. It's too cold to actually drink right now because
Nah, I really forgot where I went to AIT at. Holy shit.
Wow.
Chucky, if you make it to Fort Leonard Wood, it's like 10 minutes from me. Come out, hang out. I'll take you to some shows.
Yeah, Chucky, get laid, man. Get some chicks.
I'm in Korea. That's
Oh,
not
that's
an
right.
issue.
You're in Korea now. Yeah, he's in Korea. Well, Korean women are pretty good. Right? Yeah.
Oh, Korea? That means you spend most of your days passed out in a turtle ditch, right?
Oh no, I got people to drag me back.
Outstanding.
That's what your friends are for. But anyways, so this is gonna be a rum and coke night. I don't know what we're gonna do quite yet. It's gonna be on the fly. Link to get in is on my Facebook. It's in the link to the video description. I think it's also in the live feed. It's everywhere. I have to approve you to get in, so no trolls. I know who everybody. If you want to come in, message me ahead of time so I know to approve you ahead of time, or you're just gonna sit in the lobby and not be shown. You can't snipe this. You can't pour and bomb it. Don't even fucking try. But I do want to thank the people that have come out so far to help me get to 1 million views. So close. That number down below is not live. It's just a snippet. Unfortunately, I'm having some problems showing some windows with OBS because the way I turned on my hardware accelerator and it screwed it up, and I'd have to close everything out to fix that, and I don't want to do that. So anyways, tonight I'll be drinking a pink Moscato for right now. Okay. It's kind of lit. I have also got a little more Seagrams left. But Michael, you were drinking. What's your fine wine of choice tonight?
I am polishing off the last of my Jim Beam bourbon, and then I'm switching to vodka.
Nice. Oh, see, I'm out of my weight class here, man. I can't do vodka. It's like rubbing alcohol. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I was anything around, but vodka's too strong for me. Unless I mix it with something like orange juice, then it's okay. Yeah. By the way, I want to say hi to Christian apologist out there. I want to say hi to Christy Santiago, my favorite lesbian of all time. I want to say hi to Red, and I'm going to say hi to Jesus is Lord, even though he's a troll, but we can deal with him. Logic Beat Speculation, Pheno, Puffalpicus, all you guys. Please share the link because I really want to get to 1 million tonight, and there's only 200 views. I think I can do it. Anyways, I got a story to tell if you guys want to hear it. Red Rhetoric has been dying to know because I told him I wasn't going to tell him.
Shit. All right, let me go ahead and grab the kerosene. Let's do this.
All right. So yesterday, I believe it was yesterday. All these days blur together after a while, right? I believe it was yesterday. There was a show on a Flat Earther channel, and I can't remember the exact name of it. It was, what was it? Kelly something or other. I don't know. It was a show, but anyways, Kyle and I were watching this, and I decided to call in. It was a call-in Flat Earth show, and I was in the live chat, and they literally, as soon as I say hi, block me. Right? It was, hey, hi, what's up? Oh, it's not Sequitur, block. Oh, it's Steve, block. Right? But then one of the other admin guys who knew me said, no, don't be blocking Steve. Have him call on the show. Okay, fair enough. The guy like, yeah, call in, right? I call in, and he's like, who's this? And I say, hey, it's Steve from Non Sequitur Show. He's like, I know who you are, fucker. Click, done. It's like,
Hey, Carlson asshat, actually.
yeah, I think the word he used was asshat. Yeah, you're an asshat. I was like, so you want people to call into your show to kind of, challenge you a little bit, and then when somebody actually does, because everybody else has just been calling in, kissing your ass. Oh yeah, Flat Earth is so everybody should know this. How can not anybody know? Glowtubers are so stupid. You get somebody to call in that actually wants to have a conversation, because I've never seen this guy before. Give him some exposure, maybe invite him on, even Non Sequitur. Nope, just you're an asshat.
Did you tell him what the name of the channel was?
He knew who we were.
No, did you tell the people watching now what his channel name is?
I can't remember it. You know what? Maybe I don't want to remember it.
Hoary Sheet. He's making fun of how well, stereotype of what an Asian would sound like saying "holy shit."
Oh, is that what it is?
Hoary Sheet. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
The
get
symbol.
that now. What an
The
asshole.
symbol is an Asian. The symbol is an Asian man with a pan on his head. Like
What an asshole.
Hoary Sheet.
Yeah.
HORRYSHEET. Hoary Sheet.
I would be lying if I said I knew who this guy was, and I tend to be, in deep with flat Earth fucktardery. So this is kind of new.
He knew
Well,
who everybody
let me-
was. He knew Nathan Oakley.
Yeah.
He knew all of them.
You.
Yeah, he definitely knew.
But Reds, he was leaned back in a Tesla space car that would have half naked women float up to the side of the car, and then space astronauts that would float towards the women, which he would push a button and the trunk would out would come this like Gatling gun and blow the astronauts away.
It was pretty cool, actually. I got to give him that.
Yeah, it was badass.
Yeah, it was
actually
pretty
badass.
cool. He had a little creative talent, but he one of those guys that relies on creativity rather than substance. Because like I don't have much creativity. I have to actually put forth something, and this guy had literally nothing but globe turds, globe heads are not bright. They should all know.
Flat smacking is what he called it.
Flat smacking. Yeah, he called it flat
Yeah.
Flat
smacking.
smacking.
Now,
Well,
is this one of those channels that you found after cruising the YouTube till
Yes!
slightly after you watched 6 videos on giraffes?
That's exactly what I fucking did. I wanted to
was-
look at my history. That's basically what it was. And then I was like, I'm going to go look for a video.
The way I
see
first
who's live.
found out about flat Earth was after watching a video. Here we will learn true facts about the anglerfish, and that video is like the male anglerfish bites the female, digests its face and brain, and becomes nothing more than a pair of gonads.
What?
Yeah, that one. It's
Oh,
and
no,
it's
no,
like
no. What happens is, the female anglerfish will actually kind
Oh,
of like
man.
devour the male, and the male kind of the male kind of suckles up to it or something, and it becomes like the testicles something that of her. I mean,
it
basically,
becomes
it becomes part of her.
basically
Yeah, is that weird on the anglerfish? I've watched that.
yeah. Basically, Kyle. To the anglerfish, the human male is a loud, annoying, and overly complicated pair of gonads.
It's straight up. That's literally what it does. It attaches itself. It
That's-
kind of
Oddly enough-
it bonds with the female, and then it becomes these basically testicles.
Oddly enough, that's true of most flat earthers as well.
That's exactly where I think they got that from. I think God designed the anglerfish mating ritual from watching flat Earth videos.
Yeah.
I'll,
Also, Steve, with your permission, can we start an actual conversation here by me just throwing something out there?
Yes.
Yeah, as soon as I say hi to Nate first, if you don't mind, because he
Sure. Hi, Nate. How about now?
sure, that works.
Yo,
Love you, Nate.
Hi, Nate.
No homo.
Wait, first, Nate, are you drinking?
Yes.
And your drink of choice?
Oh, tonight I just got beer. I have some Gentleman Jack that I'm going to pop
beer's
open
nice.
earlier, but
Who am I to
I
judge?
just got some Sam Adams Oktoberfest. I just got a case for a birthday
Nice.
party.
And I got Michael
Oh.
smoking, and he's blowing in my face every so often because he knows I quit smoking a couple years ago. So
I have a really good joke about Gentleman Jack on the channel. If you go watch my stand-up video,
Gentleman Jack. All right, I gotta
Yeah.
you gotta put a link or something so I can check it
I'll
out.
send it. I'll
Make
send
it
it to you.
easy for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. Reds, what subject are you wanting to discuss?
Okay, so I was watching this no name show that's not really important in any way, shape, and form.
Oh, no, that's
And they were talking. Yeah, they were talking about what threats flat Earth poses to us.
What harm? Yeah.
Yeah, what harm it is. And on the show that was totally irrelevant and didn't fucking matter because I wasn't there. There was a thing was like, yeah, but are they going to hang ball earthers in the streets? And first of all, no one's making that argument. No one's saying
Right.
that it's ever going to get that bad. Flat earthers are not Hitler. I'll go
Yeah.
so far as to say they are not Hitler. They're as
Yeah.
dumb as Hitler, but they're not as evil as Hitler.
True.
The thing is that where the impact comes in is not in the present day; it's in the future. And what we're seeing here is that people whose minds are still mush and are still developing in this place called school, if they get suckered in to these conspiratard nonsense where they haven't yet developed the skills to critically think, they're going to get, I guess, pre-programmed, if you will, to reject everything that makes sense.
That's true.
And reject scientific authority, even though that scientific authority has gone through the proper channels to prove that they know what the fuck they're talking about.
That's true. And I think on that show, I said specifically, at first I said that their beliefs not as harmful as Christianity is, and I still feel that way. However, I do think after you just said that, I'm changing my position to that it is horrible. You know, it can do harm, and you're right. If it starts early enough, and people get into that mind frame of they can't trust anything that anybody, you know, says, then yes, eventually we will have a completely different society. So you're dead on.
And
I think it's harmful.
And when people say, "Oh, what's more harmful, creationism or this nonsense that I deal with?" My response to that is that they're both harmful and they should both be stopped. That's why I'm happy that Steve is here to actively combat this bullshit. I'm glad that I'm here to combat the bullshit on the other side. And then when we have this get together, this godforsaken orgy called the Non Sequitur Show, it all works out. So. There's many pseudoscientific, demonstrably incorrect, conspiratard horse shit on both sides, and both of them are dangerous to a certain extent. As to which one is more dangerous, who fucking cares? The point is that it's dangerous. I would rather live in a society where we can point out the bullshit easily, instead of living in a society where people are so gullible that they will believe every conspiracy theory that pops up on a Alex Jones blog. We don't need this shit, because then what happens is that you get people who have dedicated their lives to pushing the frontier getting harassed. Some new flat earthers, whose name I will not mention, not anyone that we've ever spoken about on the show or on my channel, have gone so far to actively harass people, actively get in their faces. In fact, actually, I take that back. We did speak to one of them, and we did give one of them attention because he harassed one of them in a fucking Starbucks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was our first debate we did. Let me ask you a question, though, because I brought this up on the last show, too. What percentage, if you had to guess, I know you don't know for sure, but what percentage would you say with confidence actually believe that the Earth is flat?
Wow. Well, you see, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I have moved my position on this so many times that I don't even know what to believe anymore. I'm going to be, because Poe's law kicks into high gear when you get into this amount of stupid. Poe's law makes it damn near impossible to tell the difference between a troll who is saying stupid shit just for the lulz to somebody who actually genuinely believes this shit. This is why we've gone back and forth on whether or not Jeranism actually believes this fucking nonsense.
That I think that is he absolutely does not.
I don't think he does.
I don't see how anybody could believe that he really believes that.
But what about Debbie, though? Do you think Debbie actually believes that?
Debbie is just an idiot, but that might just be a face. She, for all we know, I know people that are so good at playing a part that in reality they do not hold. They are great actors. In reality, I'm wondering why some of these people are on YouTube and not pursuing Hollywood, because they're really good at holding a character. Yeah. But either way, the fact is this: Flat Earth has exploded on the internet to the point where legitimate news sites and legitimate press is actually giving these fuckers attention. Granted, it's negative attention, but it's still attention nonetheless, to the point where there was a story I heard, and it broke my fucking heart, where a kid in middle school stood up to his teacher, called her a shill, and said that the earth was flat and nothing she could ever say would convince him. And I'm thinking that that little kid, if he keeps this shit up, his life is ruined. He's ruined any prospect of actually being a functioning member of society and maybe even contributing to it. This guy could be the next Buzz Aldrin if he really fucking wanted to, but instead he's going to look up to these dipshits that are parading themselves as smarter than thou and it's fucking sad.
Well, here's another question that I got on the actual stream we had. How much of it do you think it's our fault that it's exploding the way that it is because we perpetuate the debates and
Zero.
the conversations?
The thing is that we do give Flat Earth attention, but I think it is attention that is needed because the attention that we give them is negative attention. A lot of Flat Earthers are now shunning Southern Israelite, including No Concepts, by the way. A lot of Flat Earthers are shunning Jeranism, and if we keep up this momentum, and if we keep showing that they have no reason to believe the things that they actually do, or at least claim believe, then what they're going to eventually realize, maybe when they're a little bit older, that they just spent a lot of time following people who are as empty inside as creationists are when it comes to scientific understanding.
Yeah, and let me throw this out there that it's not so much what we can do to stop flat Earth altogether. That is going to either happen or not. What we are doing is we're slowing down the rate of their propagation. So in other words, if we weren't around, they would be probably having a lot more flat earthers out there. So what we're doing is we're just preventing them from going amok. So if you're looking at the net positive, then no, we are not contributing anything to helping them out because we have a net overall effect of retardation is what it is. We're retarding their growth because without people like Red, without people like all the people in the skeptic type communities, I think Flat Earther would be much more larger than it is because they prey on people that are not that intelligent. And let's face it, there's a lot of people out there that are not that intelligent.
By the way, Reds, when is your debate against No Concepts?
By the way, No Concepts is live feed. Hi, No Concepts.
Yeah, we're still working on that because the powers that be that actually control my life, aka my job, has got me pulled in every direction, and trips and stuff I have to do for other people is just pressing me. But cool. I did want to point out one thing though, is that when back in 2008, when YouTube was very young and the only way to talk to anybody was like through Skype, for example, I actually had a YouTube channel that used my real name. It no longer exists because I deleted it after I figured out how fucking retarded I sound, but I was very into science when I was a kid. I was very into science. However, I was also into creationism, and I was trying to blend the two together. And I would always get good grades, but I would have to switch off that part of my brain when I went to Sunday school. And I was one of these kids that actually had to go to Sunday school. Well, after trying to argue for the other side, I kept getting my ass handed to me. And getting my ass
learning experience, right?
Beat on this was pretty much a turning point for me. And it wasn't until somebody bent me over a barrel, dropped their drawers, put no condom on, and just rammed it up my keister to the point where it stretched the size of the Grand Canyon that I realized, okay, maybe my position isn't based on facts. Maybe it's not based on logical thinking, but it's based on indoctrination.
I think you're
that was a great night for me too.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think that was
very interesting.
I think you're confusing that with your last Saturday with Kyle.
Yeah, that was a great night for me.
Listen,
I was gonna.
It all becomes a blur. But the thing is that at the time, you will not have seen me as wavering in my position. And I could put on this face and say, no, I still believe in it, and you guys are not convincing me. But inside my mind was fucking exploding.
Yeah, let me read.
Yeah, I've been there.
Let me read these two super chats out real quick. Steve, and then I'll get to you, Max. Steve Bauman, $15. Thank you, sir. To keep the fight, to slap flat earthers, and some beer money. I'm drinking wine, so I hope that's good enough. But I've also got some other things here. Isandring, $20. Buy yourself some beer or something. When I get out, probably sometime this week, I do got to go some shopping because people have been donating a lot for my alcohol funds, even though I don't drink that much. This is like leftovers. Everything I have is leftovers. Like I said, I only drank that much last time of the Seagram 7. Like, that's it. So I do not drink that much. So that's why I don't have to go buy alcohol that much. But anyways, thank you for those. Max actually was a ex-Young Earth creationist. Let's see. Chucky was a Young Earth creationist. I don't know about Michael. I don't think so. You're a creationist, but
I
not a
was
young.
an older.
You're an
A
older.
good amount of us have been there.
Kyle
Yeah, I
was.
was young Earth, baby. Young Earth creation was my thing.
You were. Yeah. See, I never was a young Earth creationist. Now, I did accept, for all practical purposes, Adam and Eve, right? But it wasn't like Adam and Eve lived 7,000 years ago. It was like, Adam and Eve. Some point in time, Adam and Eve existed.
So was
Man.
Adam and Steve.
Well, no, that was in the revised edition.
Well, dead center is 1.5 from here. Oh shit.
What is that? Red Eye? No.
Sounds like Red Eye.
Yeah.
I thought he was battling the emus.
hello.
Who is battling the emus if you're here?
Landon, are you hanging out with Red Eye? You're watching an old video.
Yeah, I'm also hanging out with Red Eye another section, but I know. So congratulations on your 1 million views. I'm happy to have viewed it a few times.
Yeah. I'm not quite there yet. I just refreshed. I need 120 more now.
Okay. Well, so that means I need to go and get my my beverages there. Is this a soft beverage or a hard beverage?
Knock yourself out, brother.
Everything's better when it's harder.
Well, if things get too tough, I've got the moonshine cherries.
Wow. Yeah, no, it's not that kind of celebration.
Moonshine cherries. Holy fuck.
My goodness.
Yeah, they're like eating jet fuel.
So yes, I'm going to be multitasking and watching Red Eye and participating
go
in
for
your
it, man.
stuff. And I'm also doing some coding on the side, trying to get some servers back online. But as I say, so did you think you'd get to 1 million views as fast?
Okay, well, for another super chat, Dave, $5. Kent Hovind says, congratulations, and to pass a super chat donation along. Thanks, Kent Hovind. I'm sure you would. Kent Hovind is stingy as fuck. Okay, he would never, I mean, we all super chat. Like I don't mind super chatting. I throw like $10 to Talk Heathen, and we all kind of help each other out. So it kind of gets mixed around. Kent, he wouldn't even do $2 if his life depended on it. Let's be realistic here.
Isn't that what got him in trouble with the IRS, right? They're not giving enough?
Yeah, exactly. He can't pay his taxes. Do you think he's going to donate a couple bucks to people?
Steve, did you ever think you would get here that quick? I think it was Landon's.
Well, it was 5 years, Landon. So that's like not quick. But it was only like 2+ years of actual content. I don't even know what it would. If you were to say, hey, Steve, what does it take to get to 1 million views? It's a bitch. But Non Sequitur did it in 6-7 months. Matter of fact, we have a 1.6 million. But that's rare. Matter of fact, Kyle can vouch for this. Our growth on Non Sequitur was so much that Social Blade accused us of cheating, and they had to go in and do forensic analysis to determine that the subs were legit.
When we had problems monetizing, we were going to partner up with Social Blade. Like they have a program that you can, you can go with them for, I believe the term's a year, and you get a smaller cut, but you're still monetized. We went the first 6 months without monetization at all. So
Yep,
we're losing all of that revenue. And I applied to it, and they came back and said there's suspicious activity on this account. The rate of growth doesn't match with averages out, and we had to agree to let them go in and do a what they called a forensic examination of the account to make sure that we weren't like using bots and.
They said it was what 0.01% that our thing was legit.
0.01%.
0.01% that we were legit, and can they find out? They can send them an email. Hey, you know what? Congratulations, guys, you're legit. So I mean, it's hard to say. Each channel is different, right? I know channels have been around for a while. The 1 million subs isn't really that big. I mean, I'm sure 1 million views isn't that big. Reds gets, he's like probably how many millions views you get? You have one video with 2 million views, so. It depends on the channel, but Reds has been around for a long time too. Reds, when you were doing Line Ghost Show, do you think you would ever have a video with 1 million on it? I mean, we've gotten 250,000 videos, but you have a video with almost 2 million, if not over 2 million. Did you think that you would have that?
No, actually, and driving 3 hours in the middle of the fucking night kind of seems a lot worth it now. Just to be very clear, that video, as of right now, was uploaded 10 months ago and is at 2,405,644 views with 35,000 upvotes and 9,345 comments.
And it's weird because it doesn't translate to subs, because you have about 19,000 subs, which is very respectable, don't get me wrong. But when you have 2 million people watching a video and only small amount sub, it's not because of us. It is the way YouTube promotes shit. It's just crap. It doesn't translate to
weird.
subs.
It's weird,
But
but when I
you
was looking at it, there was a video of the space station transiting the sun during a solar eclipse from Smarter Every Day. That one has 1.9 million views. So fuck you, Smarter Every Day.
But we like Smarter every day.
but
I
Red,
know we do. But let me have my moment.
Okay,
And
Snake.
the eclipses are nice too.
Yeah, the close.
Hey, Red, do you do call to actions on your videos? Like, sub to my channel, blah, 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 blah. That,
No, I don't.
No, I do, and Non Sequitur does.
The only people that I tell my subs to sub are people that have less than 1,000 who I think really fucking deserve it. Like, for example, Conspiracy Cats, sub to him.
Rez, he means like, do you put like on your end cards, like subscribe to you?
Yeah, the
specifically?
end card, when it comes up, it has like a place for your 15 seconds. You can say, click here to subscribe, that kind of stuff. That's called to action.
No, I don't.
Yeah, because a lot of times they'll say that when people are watching videos, if you do like a call or action or just have those cards, it makes it because people just want to make it as easy as possible. Just like what Kyle was talking about.
Oh yeah, I fucking hate those things on mobile. They pop up and get in the way of my video.
Yeah, that's why I don't put them on my shit because I hate them.
The tags are the biggest thing though, and what's in your title, like that's the most important thing I found.
Honestly, you want to know what tag did it for me? Nikon P900.
I thought it was midget porn.
Wow. But YouTube can ignore all your tags if you're not careful.
Oh yeah, no, if you put too many in, yeah, sure.
No, but they won't ignore the tags for the video. They'll ignore all the tags you ever put on all your videos.
Yeah, they're shadow banned. There's a lot of weird things they do.
What they don't like is and this is how they tell. If you tag a video about flat Earth and you put in whatever, let's say the popular movie is what is Interstellar? Let's say that you start in your flat Earth video that has nothing to do with Interstellar. You put Interstellar, Matthew McConaughey, that sort of thing. When it pops up, it can learn that people that are going to your video are clicking on it, seeing it has nothing to do with what they think it is, and clicking off, and they pick up that that's the tag that it's associated with. So that's how you get into that kind of regression where they stop promoting your videos because they can tell that you're putting in words that have nothing to do with the video. So what I always do is I go down through my title and the description, and my tags are the keywords in the title and the description. I just go down however I've got it worded, whether it's a bio or a what's going on in that hangout, and just put the big word, the keywords down.
Yeah. Right now on that, I'll just go ahead and give it out. These are all the tags that I put for that particular video: International Space Station, ISS, Spot the Station, Nikon P900, Transit, Lunar Transit, Transit Finder, Space, NASA, Orbit, Moon. That's it.
Yeah. Sometimes less is more.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously it worked because people were finding the video and people watched the whole video. I bet if you actually looked at your time, most people were watching the vast majority of the video. You'll find if you have a 2-hour video, people watch like 25 minutes, which is really good, by the way. 25 to 40 minutes, you're doing well because bad videos have about 3 minutes.
How much do you make on a video with 2 million views, Reds?
He didn't monetize it.
I didn't monetize it for the longest time. I didn't monetize it till I had 1.8 million views on it.
Oh. Okay,
that wasn't my choice. I applied for monetization on Valentine's Day, and it wasn't until just recently that they finally got back to me. The fucks.
Us too.
Yeah.
Us too.
And then sometimes it does. Like today, my video today with Landon, for some reason, wasn't monetized. I mean, not that it got demonetized. It just never was set for monetization, and yet everything I have is automatically monetization. For some reason now, it's not working.
YouTube is I think we said polonium, and that's what.
No. It literally it was like the gray $, meaning that I never turned the monetization on. But you can set a setting that it automatically monetizes all your videos, and yet for some reason it didn't.
We had a shit show with it wasn't a shit show. It was actually awesome, but I mean it was just like if you could think of a video that would be demonetized, it would be the one that we did with Hugo and Jake. I mean we just shit on all kind of things, and it was just a very it was a great time, but not for advertisers. So the beginning of that, Steve did part of our Red Herring segment. He did a video on remembering John McCain, kind of the highlights of his life and how Trump disrespected him. Completely professional. I mean, it was nothing but a memorial video basically, but we had an issue with our tech stuff, so that got cut out. So we uploaded the video of John McCain separate from the thing with Hugo and Jake. Hugo and Jake got monetized, stay monetized. They demonetized John McCain.
Wow. Go figure.
Yeah, but the way I was
That's crazy.
monetizing before was just for rocket launches, and even that's been going down the shitter because I haven't been able to access any of the payments that are owed to me through PayPal, not PayPal, but Patreon, for a while. Every time I try to go through it, it's like, oh, it's grayed out. Oh, your account's under review because suspicious activity. Fuck off.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I've sent them like a bajillion emails. They're still not getting to me. So I'm like, look, if this keeps up, I'm just going to say fuck it and close down Patreon and just say, at this point, if you want to support me, watch my shit at this point.
They don't make it easy, do they?
Speaking of Steve, listen to this. Steve, I just got an email. This is announcement worthy. David Street, thank you very much. He just became one of the 2 of our $100 Patreons.
Thank you, David.
So thank you.
Yeah, David, I think was just in line. He was just over here a few seconds ago, wasn't he?
You will enjoy that tier, I promise you.
He was he was just over here. I think he was one that donated for the Ken Hovind thing. Yeah, and by the way, take advantage of the benefits for those things. I mean, again, we want people to come in and direct. You have control of the show at that tier.
It's funny because No Concepts actually. I was talking to him and he was asking me.
I'm all for
he's
that.
He's going to debate Reds this month or next month whenever they work it out. And he was asking me about, because one of the things with the top tier is that Steve and I will go on your channel to promote you. You can you get your own show that you call the shots. Whoever you want to invite, and we host after shows on your channel. So you effectively get us to help market for you, and you get to take over a show. And he was asking,
how cool is that?
If he was, I think
we don't know what could go wrong with that, right?
Yeah. But I mean, it's smart for a flat earther.
It's great.
To do
No,
if you
I'm
want,
all
if you want
for
to, and we will honor it.
Yep.
So
yeah, I mean, if you guys don't realize by now, Kyle and I will keep our word, except for when you're doing flat Earth stuff, because we're Lyle and Steve McRae,
and the moon
and the moon landing.
We lie about the moon.
We got to keep that narrative that we went to the moon for obvious reasons, but we know better. But it's a pragmatic approach. Bill Summer of Valleywood says real quick. He said, Steve. Got to say how, and I'm not sure I know who this is, but he says, got to say how awesome it is that you would so involve yourself with your community. I think it's awesome that all the people involve themselves in the community, not just the Great Debate community, link in the video description if you haven't joined us yet, but also all the communities out there that are just working with this great synergy. I mean, look at Kyle bringing in other things like Mr. Atheist and working with this group, and we're working with that group, and we'll go be interviewed on that. I'm going to be interviewed on Fully Deconverted on the 15th. I think Kyle's going to be interviewed not long after that. I think maybe the next day. We'll go on all these different channels for the great skeptics out there, like Holy Kool-Aid, wonderful skeptic. I mean, if you want to be talking about psychic shit, go talk to Holy Kool-Aid, right? Everybody has their little niche, everybody has their thing that they do, and it's one big, strong group. And that's what the skeptic community lacked last time. There was so much infighting, it was ridiculous.
Yeah. Which is why this is a good time to plug that on November the 25th, we will be having the first annual Golden Nun Awards. We will be giving out award for Video of the Year, Creator of the Year, Best Argument. We've got the Golden Dumpster for the Flat Earth Debate of the Year, and I'm pretty sure people can guess who's gonna be receiving that. But yeah, come see your favorite content creators. Like I'm sure Reds will win a couple. But starting next week, what we're going to do is we're going to release the categories, one category a week until the 25th, and you guys will go in and vote based on the category on the winners. So,
by the way, I think Wonton wants to come in. It is Rum and Coke night, and Rum and Coke night by historical things. Flat Earthers.
Come on in, Wonton.
Flat Earthers they can come in. So
God, let me go ahead and grab the kerosene.
Yeah, he can come in.
So I think I should start with some red wine. So
I'll get him the link right now. And by the way, I'm
go straight to the whiskey.
Yes.
Oh, you said go straight to whiskey, skip the wine, go to the whiskey.
There's a link to come in. You can't snipe us. You can't. Well, I know Wonton won it, but I have to crew people, so I'm safe.
Hang on, Kyle. I got something to say about the awards there.
Sure.
I will go ahead and partake, but I want you to know that there is something I am going to want you to promote on Nonsec, and that is the most important award of them all, going on its 5th year. Sure. The Dumb Fuck of the Year award.
Why don't you just do the Dumb Fuck of the Year with us?
Well,
that'd be badass, actually.
It would be badass. It would. You know what? Why don't you guys just make me a permanent member of the Non Sequitur Show and let's just stop the foreplay.
You're not on enough.
Might as well.
My legs are spread. Let's do this.
We got to get you. You got to be more integrated. We got to figure out how to like meld you into the mesh. You know.
It's like
You gotta
listen,
let somebody survive.
listen. The very
Yeah, that's true.
Listen. Okay, hypothetically speaking, if Kyle can't get on the Non Sequitur Show because his fucking iPhone is fucking up again, I should be able to take his place since I have a superior Android device that will allow me to achieve such goals that he may not be able to fulfill because shitty Apple.
Well,
If
we have to look at something else too, though. If we're looking at, I've ranked pretty much the top 4 people that have been on the show in terms of how many appearances that they've made, and you are actually in, as of Friday night, you are in second place, tied with Aaron.
Mhm.
And if I'll tell you what, and I think Kyle is fine with this. If Kyle ever gets sick or just can't do it, he's fine if you replace him for a night.
Who has who was the guy that brought the most views to Non Sequitur Show consistently?
Oh no, you definitely have the records. Yeah.
Oh my
that record,
god!
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is, my dick is so massive I could use it as a kickstand.
Yeah. Or give people's throats stretch.
But let's be realistic. You're going against flat earthers, so is it really that much of a challenge, dude? I mean, let's put it in perspective here. I mean, do you want to go against something a little more challenging? Maybe like, I don't know, simulation theory, maybe.
No, he does. Where he's at is, like I said Wednesday. He is the Aaron Ra of flat Earth. He needs to stay exactly where he is because he's doing like you can't get any better than Reds. Just like with creationism and that sort of thing, you can't get any better than
Oh, it's great.
you or Aaron.
Steve, I would argue that debating flat earthers is hard because it hurts when they say their dumb shit. It's really hard to keep going.
Yeah, there's obviously some physical and psychosomatic thing going on. I guess, sure. But
I realized you can't get through to flat earthers when I had met one in AIT. Now, in my AIT, I'm in 25 Quebec, so that's Signal. Specifically, my field is SATCOMs. So there are flat earthers in the SATCOM field.
so think about this. He's a glorified Wi-Fi technician. He's a glorified Wi-Fi technician that deals with satellites that are in the sky, but that don't exist to the flat earthers in his
They don't exist. I don't know how
This
it
is
works.
not reality. This is not reality.
He lives in the Twilight Zone.
Let me tell you something. Let me guys tell you what happened today. Okay, I learned that 20 minutes from me, and I live in Greensboro, North Carolina, and Morganton is about 20 minutes from me. And today they held. This is no joke. They held a Bigfoot festival where the mayor of the town of Marion declared it the city's national, or not city, but the city animal, Bigfoot. This is not a joke. This is a real thing. Okay,
Yeah, well-
so we live in a world where people think that the Earth is flat, and where mayors are declaring the city animal Bigfoot.
Did you see that?
No,
reality.
but that's promotion of the local shtick.
The
Now,
local
it says
lore,
something
yeah.
about their community, but
But did you see Answers in Genesis put out the thing? Unicorn is actually real. Bible says so. And Shannon's like, "Is this a joke? Is this a parody account?" No, Ken, are you really throwing this out there? I'm like, they've done this before. Yeah, they don't believe the unicorn was a rhino. No, that would make too much sense. No, it's literally a unicorn.
The sad thing is, though, Steve, I give more credence to the people who declared Bigfoot the city animal than I do people who think the Earth is flat.
I mean, because you can declare anything to be anything, right? Mayoral proclamations. Hey, I've been mayor pro tem of my city, and mayoral proclamations are worth what.
But you're real.
Yeah. Well,
Is there a city?
but I
is there
didn't
a city
play myself.
where the
Landon's
animal
using
is
his devil
appearance?
math.
That's all I want.
His damn ball earther math.
Yeah, double bath in there. But I am proud to be the flat earthers' worst nightmare, but on the other hand, I don't think that they're worth the oxygen to talk to, because they're either trolls, ignorant, or
That's true. See, Landon doesn't suffer
unquote.
fools well, and so when there's a flat earther out there, Landon has a really short temper because he doesn't like us. We like playing, right? We like having a little cat and mouse game, and we like to expose flat earthers for the bullshit that they do. Landon, he just doesn't want to suffer that, and I don't blame him for it. I really don't. but we enjoy it.
Landon
But
is one bad day away from being a supervillain.
Exactly.
You actually make a killer
I think
supervillain. Yeah.
I think it's
Killer
perfectly fine to talk about, how we measure the cosmos and that sort of thing. I prefer the positive side on there.
Yeah.
But
Steve, I think you should issue a challenge to Corey Sheet to show him how it should be done when you have somebody of the opposite.
No, Horace
You-
Sheet fucking didn't want anything to do with me when I was going to give him some exposure. He can suck my left testicle. Why
Come
do
on
I want
out,
to bother
Horace
with
Sheet.
him? I'd rather have Wotan come in. At least Wotan engages. I mean, if he says Occam Razors one time, I'm going to fucking flip. but-
Wotan we're cool with, though.
yeah,
even
Wotan's
though,
cool.
I mean,
yeah, Wotan's cool.
yeah.
He's already been on Occam's
Are we
Razor
cool with him?
alive. Yeah.
Well, cool as
Yeah.
far as he's like a flat earther that I just at least can have
Here's what I
somewhat
mean
of
by
a
that.
convo with.
There are some people that we have on the show, and this is with every category that we do, that take it personally, and they leave with a grudge, and they hold on to that. There are some people though, like us, we can have a conversation, we can get pissed off, and we can yell and scream, but at the end of it, it's fine. Like we go away, and we know that we need each other in a certain sense. Like they have a belief, we have our way, and we want to like showcase that. So there's a wall there. It's not personal. Once it's over, it's over, and we can have regular conversations. And
Yeah.
Wonton's one of those people. Like we can, and we do. Like Steve and I have fought with him like crazy on the show. My in fact, biggest explosion was with Wonton, and then afterwards he emailed me and said, "Everything good?" I was like, "Yep, everything good." And it's been
Well,
fun.
I mean, Rez, do you remember we had way long ago, and it was one of my bigger videos, we had a Flat Earth like summit, and we had Nathan Oakley on, and we had Sleeping Warrior on. We had a whole bunch of the Flat Earthers. And it was a huge dumpster fire. Yes, Thomas, hang on a sec. We'll get to you, homie. He's trying to sing. And it was a dumpster fire. Nathan Oakley was just horrific. As soon as we went off air, get an email from him. Hey, that was really fun, man. When are we going to do that again?
Yeah.
Pretty much. Okay, yeah, cool.
that's the way it should be.
now, Steve, I will challenge you on. You say it. I don't suffer so badly. On one of your online things, I had a nearly 4-hour discussion with Edgar.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I've listened. I don't know how many you've had. I've listened to one of them. Probably the only one you had. I don't remember. Oh, my God.
So I take exception that I don't fuss over. It's just that I usually have better things to do.
But he's not a flat earther, though. So let's
No.
so
I'm not
anyways,
sure what he is.
He's a younger Christian.
Speaking of Edgar, I saw a commercial advertising paper towels, and on the left it showed standard paper towels. They dropped a big glop of soap through
There's Edgar
4 of them.
paper towels.
Yeah, they dropped a big glob of soap through 4 of them, and the big glob of soap went through all the regular ones. But on the right, it didn't go through. The only one on the right, the one they were advertising.
Do you
I'm
think-
thinking that's an intelligent paper towel.
Yeah, do you think Edgar could
Absolutely.
be their spokesperson? Because, I mean, Edgar could make a fortune off that, actually. But anyways, Thomas Westbrook, a.k.a. Holy Kool-Aid, a.k.a. Cartoon Face.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, buddy? I was singing your praises today because you are my go-to person for, like, psychic shit. So, I don't know if you were listening.
I actually am controlling you with my mind to make you do that. So
Thank you.
Hey, how are you? How are you? What do you used to do that animation thing? That's badass.
the power of the Holy Spirit, that and lots of
Of
fapping.
course.
See, like my little
course.
cartoon character.
It looks like you're scratching your ass.
For real?
Yeah, that's not
For real,
fapping.
how do
Unless
you-
you're having
Is it a psychic ability to do that cartoon stuff, or is
How
that?
do you do that? What is that?
So I'm actually using Adobe Character Animator, and I'm running it through Siphon and CamTwist on Mac to get it to output as a virtual camera.
That's pretty
Oh, on
sweet.
Mac. Is that
Yeah,
why
he-
it looks so bad?
Yeah, he's a high-tech kind of guy. He actually put some effort
Oh
into
yeah.
his
She
animation.
reads. Pay attention. This is what Apple products can do.
Yeah.
Do you know of
So-
any Windows products that could do this?
See,
So, I
I'm
mean,
Mr. Elastic.
Probably a lot.
The fact
Oh.
that Red is both Android and Windows Challenge shouldn't you don't hold it against it.
Oh, I do. It's personal. It's
Hey,
personal.
I'm a
this-
Mac
this-
guy on my computer,
Can I just
but
say-
I've got an Android phone.
I
Yeah,
kind of say I like
I'll
Linux
just-
better than everybody. I just like Linux, but
I have to let the founders of that Android company use my iPhone when their Android phone craps out.
Linux is gay.
let me
Yeah.
guess.
Listen.
Landon.
Listen.
Hang on, Landon. You helped develop the iPhone at some time, right?
No, I actually did not, but I was I
But,
would have
but listen to the but. No, I didn't. But what's the
But
but?
I'm one of the testers, right? And I have a stack of iPhones about that tall because I've tested each one of them, and they pay me to break them.
Thomas, start talking
Yeah.
again. I want to see your thing in action. That is the coolest thing I've
So
seen in a long time.
it actually all I have is a webcam with motion capture, and it's tracking like my eyebrows that go up and down, and then I have my audio is set up. I have different like for every single different sound that I make with my mouth, like an or an ah, like it. I have different things that I've drawn, and it just cycles between them based off the audio waveform.
You should switch to the default fish.
So I can move, like, so when I move my hands and stuff, I've set on the little puppet guy or whatever, I have like different sections that are set to be like hard and bone, and then some that are like kind of bendable joints and stuff, and then certain areas are pinned to other parts of the body. But this is actually the first time that I'm showcasing this on a live stream. So
what does it look
That's
like?
awesome.
What does
It looks like your character's been working out.
Yeah, what does
He's
it look
getting
like?
buff.
What does it look like when you pick your nose?
well, see, I don't know if I can with this one because my hands are set up as a layer behind my body.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah. But I could change that. I could set up an animation that I just hit a hotkey and he'll like stick his fingers in his nose.
There you go. Quick super chat. Mexican Wrath $2. I want Betty Von Velsen. It's Betty Von Velsen. And Debbie and Red's debate. That would break the internet. And anyways,
Do you
actually,
hate me?
Reds has actually debated Betty Von Velsen, and I give props to her that she had enough balls to do it. But she was one of the worst flat earthers of all time. It was so bad. It was so
I've never
bad.
met anybody. I've never met anybody that wasn't crazy without the name Vaughn in the title.
I will say this though. I think that non sequitur, you guys pretty much shut down Debbie Duran's channel, man. Her traffic has stopped.
We didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry, Debbie.
I'm
Call
not.
me.
No. What it is I think it was I don't know if it was Kyle or Steve that said this in the very beginning. They're like, secretly the goal is to just let these people advertise how disingenuous or idiotic they really are, and then they will be their own advertisement for please stop watching.
Well, who wants to watch Debbie? I mean, she's just nails on chalkboard. But
Everybody wants to watch Debbie. She's a
no, they don't. I'm telling
No.
you, they say they do.
No.
But it's
No.
like it's like crack cocaine. They say it's fun and enjoyable, and they want to do it. But most people don't want to become crackheads.
She's the third most
Listen.
watched video on our channel.
Like I said, most people don't want to become crackheads.
Okay, so this is how I
listen.
gauge if people want to watch something. People that don't watch YouTube, how interested they are in what I'm watching while I'm at my shop is what I go by. So, like, just to put it out here like this, the Sunday show with Steve and Landon from I think 2 weeks ago, where they were talking about non-proliferation and stuff like that, and going over the stuff. Right? Did you know that my boss was in the he was Iraqi military. And my other coworker was in Jordanian military. Everybody in my shop thought that was like a news special, like a presentation by the news from like CNN or like C-SPAN or something like that. They thought that literally like Landon Knoll was like a newscaster or like a presenter, and he was like giving all this information and stuff. Especially when he got to that
he would make a good one,
or whoever that is. They were like, I've heard that name personally.
Yeah,
they're like, I know that.
It's unfortunate. There was a lot more material. I was, for example, going to show. I have a bunch of stuff showing, for example, what Saddam Hussein was doing. And
I was hoping that you would cover a Whipple 2 device because I have not had enough. Like nobody's gone in depth on the Whipple 2. So like they say it exists. They talk about the test over Christmas Island, and that's about it.
Yeah, there's a bunch of. There's a bunch of things that are public that you can talk about, and to say it's very interesting to see what Saddam was doing versus what Muammar Gaddafi was doing, which is what, and of course one of the interesting questions is what Hafez al-Assad was trying to do as well, but that's another story.
Do you know that the first video we did, which was the second video, when we were talking about stuff, if I was to give numbers out, that's still considered classified, even though it's not really classified, but it is still classified. So the numbers involved, if I was to tell you pressures, temperatures, set points, relief valves, things of that nature, those are considered to be classified information, actually.
Well, it's and I understand you guys, and that's the thing.
He's a
is
rebel.
that people that understand information and they have classified information,
what
they
would
take it
person do
very
with it,
seriously. Like my brother, he's a F-14 engine mechanic, and just so happened I got from my uncle, who's a tank mechanic. He gave me one of his old, binders of how to work on stuff, small engines, stuff like that. It just happened to have a actual still in use diagram of that F-14 Tomcat engine.
Sure.
When my brother saw me looking through that book and he saw that diagram, he snatched the book out of my hands, went to my uncle, cussed him the fuck out, ripped the pages out, and burned them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a different. There's different ways to react to it.
Well,
in
I
my
mean-
particular case, for example, that longer presentation, which actually was about a 6-hour class, is the full presentation, was given for the target. Original target was people joining diplomatic corps who were going to do nuclear non-proliferation negotiations, and they had not yet gotten their security clearance. So I was asked to use public sources to present information from a public source information. So the stuff, for example, I did on stuff with Steve, everything has a public source, right? And I used data that was public sourced. And
Right,
But
but
even
in
if
the
you got the
case of like
classified
those
stuff,
documents
would it
that
matter?
were basically thrown out by, I think you said Sweden or Holland.
Oh,
or
Sweden.
Sweden.
Yeah.
So
Look at Puff.
basically, just imagine if somebody was in that field, that was their day job, right? They were the one that stumbled upon those documents in the trash. They would have a completely different reaction. They'd be on edge and livid.
But
Yeah.
Puff, if I told you half the stuff that I learned that was classified, it wouldn't do you a damn bit of good. It just
Yeah.
wouldn't. If I told you the thickness of the Naomi coating was 8 microns on a zircon oxide fuel pellet for a
Yeah.
D2G reactor core, would that do you any good? Nope.
No.
Guys,
No,
I got,
no,
The fuck
and
knows
that's
what it
what I
means,
like.
but it's fact.
Right.
I got to
but what
run real quick, guys. I
and
just want
that's
to say bye
why-
and congrats, Steve. Congrats, man.
Congrats.
Like
Thanks,
Kyle.
Kyle. Good to see you.
Sorry, Kyle.
Have a good evening, okay?
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I like that you did bring up, and you kind of went into a little bit of depth on, Landon, was that you were like, look, the ability to understand and how to make the bomb is one thing, and then every step you get along the way to delivering that weapon in a tactical or logistical way, the logistics of delivering that weapon, it gets harder every step. It gets not incrementally, but exponentially harder every step of the way, right?
Yes, absolutely. And and yes, if you try to do nuclear reprocessing to build a bunch of U-235 to build a Hiroshima type device, you have a chance. But on the other hand, that's actually quite obvious of what's going on. But if you're trying to reliably deliver something that's going to perform in a battlefield, that's a whole different ballpark. And also, there are some key pieces that were missing, right? Because they weren't relevant. We weren't talking about, let's teach you how to build a bomb, or trying to give you the ideas of the technology. So the debate about what was going on in Iraq, or what's going on in Iran today, or North Korea, you have some context. The problem right now is that people just treat everything as you can't talk about it, and yet people are building public policy around it.
Sure.
Because people freak out about North Korea and they say they're so close and everything, but just let's take the warhead out of it. To get an ICBM from where you are to where you want it to be,
They won't use an IPCM.
it's so hard.
They will not use an IPCBM.
Yeah.
They don't need to.
Right. I understand
Yeah, they
that.
use
I understand we
conventional
have the
means.
system where anything
You're
that
right.
breaks, a certain altitude at a certain speed, it's automatically on the radar. It's picked up by everybody.
But speaking on the radar real quick, I got to say hi. Rags?
Hello, Rex.
What up,
What?
dude? What?
Hello.
What?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, do we want to hear
Yeah.
you?
I don't know. What the fuck is this with the Zoom? What is the Zoom?
This is Zoom. Welcome to
What's
Zoom.
this? What is this? Skype 2.0?
This is actually Skype that works.
This
All you
this
need
is
to know
this
is
is what we call one of the worst platforms I've ever had the
Holy-
displeasures of using.
What's
my
wrong
headset.
with
I
you?
know, right? Jesus,
I love it. I love Zoom.
I do too.
It's terrible.
You guys suck.
What is
Zoom,
this?
Zoom appears to work, right?
You
And
guys are
that's-
going to hell and burning for eternity. I'm just telling you right here now. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. With the number of things that I see that Windows people try to do the simulcast stuff is just abysmal, right? It's amazing that.
Wait, you don't like Zoom? Landon, or you do?
No, I love it because it
Good, me
actually
too.
work. And
I'm glad we've set the bar so high. Goodness.
I thought Zoom was a failed media player by the Microsoft Corporation.
Okay,
No,
first of all,
that's
Zoom.
hey,
Zoom.
Rag, hey, Rag,
okay.
Rags,
It's like Zoom, but Zoom.
Rags, here's how it works. When we want your opinion, we'll tell you what it is.
When I want your opinion, I'll give it to you.
Okay, so real quick, super chat. Tell Kyle thanks for just went off screen. Tell Kyle thanks for telling me there's another top contributor and modified my pledge. I have to be the top contributor. I have an ego problem. Ooh, we like a little competition. That's David. I will tell him that, but I think he already saw that you are the top there, and I appreciate it.
What is the top value?
He's our he's our $100 pledge a month for.
Congratulations.
And by the way, I'm telling you, when we have a lot of pledges and we have a lot of people that are donating to. Why do we got Rags in here 4,000 times? I know he has like high in his personality and stuff, but one time's enough, Rags. But we want to put forth that content to earn that Patreon and then earn the views. We put a lot of work in Non Sequitur, as you can tell.
By the way, I am impressed at how much effort you put in there. This is a lot of work to get there. And so
by the way, can I say something? Is Wonton actually coming in here? Because that's the only reason why I'm actually staying here.
That would be awesome.
I put the link in there to do it one more time.
Wonton said in the
fight
chat.
with my car to get here.
Come on, Wonton.
Wonton said he was not coming to a 10 versus 1. He knew how that would work out.
Hey.
It'll work out.
First of all, he's
very well for the person that's the one.
Yeah, he's done it before. And second of all, we're not like Harry Balls or whatever that guy's name is. If you want to come and talk to us as a flat earther, come on in. Well, you weren't here earlier. What happened was this guy was having this hangout, and he had a call-in show, and he had asked for people to call. So I said, "Fuck it, I'll call." And I said, "Hey, yeah, this is Steve from the Non Sequitur Show. I know who you are. You're an asshat." Click.
Well, here's what happened. Just a bit of backstory. He thought he had a gotcha question about an experiment about atmosphere being next to a vacuum, whatever, and he got his ass royally owned on that. And now he's waiting for me to leave before he will even consider coming in here. It's okay. You're not the first flat earth to be afraid of me.
Okay, hold on. I want a headache, Greg. Could you explain what he thought about what would happen to an atmosphere in a vacuum?
Yeah, so
magic.
So his ultimate assertion was that there is no evidence that an atmosphere can exist next to a vacuum. And he asked for an experiment. I told him I had an observation when he asked for empirical evidence. He goes, "Oh, you have an observation." Steve rightfully harped on him and goes, "That's empirical, you shit." And so after I showed him a video of an Atlas V 551 lifting off, it was
nobody
where it was nobody knows sunlight, so you could actually see the escaping gases. As the rocket got higher and higher, the gases got wider and wider as pressure was getting lower and lower. Eventually, the gases were so spread out because the atmosphere was so thin that it was in a vacuum at that point because you could no longer see it, even though it was being illuminated by the sun. And that was my evidence to show that our atmosphere does exist next to a vacuum. So his assertion that it can't exist next to a vacuum was debunked on that day. And ever since then, he's now scared to talk to me.
All right, let me ask you this. I had a quick another side super chat. Mixing Wrath $5. Kyle's comment during Reds and SI's debate was priceless. Quote, I wasn't this painful the first time I had anal sex. Yeah. By the way, I had never had anal sex, and I can tell you I was probably not going to be as painful.
Steve confirmed. You know what?
Yeah.
You never fucked a girl in the ass.
Oh
Steve?
no, I never give. No, there's a difference between giving and getting, dude. Let's be realistic here. Okay.
There is. There's a big difference.
Big.
They're so close. They're so close, but they're so far away.
Anyway, Reds, on the thing about the atmosphere next to a vacuum, one of our experiments we did, had basically a cryogenic trap with material in a solid state that was sublimating, creating a gas next to it in an ultra.
He's using big words. He's using big words. Don't be using big words. We got flat earthers in the live feed. We don't understand what you be saying, motherfucker.
So basically, the ultracentrifuge was already known.
Sublimation. He doesn't know what sublimation just means to transform from one phase to another without going through an intermediate phase. So you go like dry ice goes from solid to gas without going through
gas.
a phase.
Okay, and so it was on ultracentrifuge.
Don't you take thermodynamics and physics in college? Oh my goodness.
I did, but I forgot.
And it had to do with isotopes of uranium and ultracentrifuge, and so a high vacuum in the center and gaseous material towards the edge. And so that was an example of an atmosphere next to a vacuum.
Yeah, I mean, what is it?
So
Well, go ahead, and then I gotta ask for his
I was
question.
just gonna say, we have all these experiments that show yes, an atmosphere does exist next to a vacuum, but I just want to know what he expected should happen since he says it couldn't.
Well, that's kind of my question. That's kind of let me rephrase it a little bit better. He agrees, and I think Dell, obviously, and Gavin even. Whoa, Sandring.
Whoa, dude, mute.
High pitch hearing. We still like to keep what we have left. You remember, Landon and I are old. Okay, I mean, Landon's so old. When he was a kid, rainbows were in black and white. Okay, so we go way back, guys.
I have no idea what I even did.
I don't know.
Yeah, my photons are monochromatic.
Yeah, they're all monochromatic photons. We love tech talk. So okay, so let me ask you this. They all agree that there's a stratification as far as atmospheric pressure. Do I know this person? Complaints department?
Who, the scientist that NASA pays off?
No. The complaints department is coming in. I don't know who he is. So we're gonna do is we're gonna turn off the video real quick and admit him in, and then he can show who he is. And so my question is, if they agree that there's atmospheric pressure lower on the ground than there is higher.
Okay, Steve. Complaints department's one of our admins.
Okay, good. Okay, works for me. High complaints department. Okay, so they agree that the density decreases as you go higher. Even they admit at higher altitudes, like Mount Everest, you're going to have rarefaction of the gases. It's going to be more of a vacuum pressure. Now, do they expect all of a sudden you hit some kind of limit, carbon line or whatever? You have a higher pressure now, and if so, what is causing that higher pressure?
No. The issue that they're running into is that they think that a thinning of the atmosphere is fine, but when we use the word vacuum, they think vacuum means suck.
They're an idiot.
So they think that if our atmosphere is next to a vacuum, that vacuum
like a hoover,
our atmosphere right off the planet.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid.
Is that suck as in the pole or suck as an Android phone?
Look at it.
No,
Hey,
shut the fuck up.
Cheap shot.
Until they screwed the American market, I was a solid fan of Motorola phones. They were very good.
Yeah, no, I used to sell Motorola phones.
Listen, I'm talking about suck as in the pressure and when Apple introduced the notch. Okay, that's what I mean.
But Reg, why don't any of them actually do a free body diagram? Why don't they actually say, look, let's put in some numbers. I have this much gravity that we would expect from the Earth, keeping the atmosphere here, and I have this much pressure that's in the atmosphere itself.
Steve, they're going to tell you that gravity.
What do they think that's going to happen when you have? What do they think is going to happen when you have a big thing of mass attracting the atmosphere?
Listen, you tell me if you're making up gravity.
Everyone shut the fuck up. I'm going to tell you a very big problem that Steve has already run into is that he's talking to flat earthers that are literally hosing down basketballs and wondering why water isn't sticking to it.
They do that. They really do that.
Racist.
Yeah, I have a question. Is it technically, in a sense, a carburetor atmosphere operating next to a vacuum?
A carburetor works by a differentiation of
pressure. With the Venturi principle. So when you push the air through at a high rate, you have a tube that's at a 90-degree angle. That tube, because of that, it has a low pressure. It meets low pressure because the air is moving faster through the center. It sucks the gasoline through, but you still have to feed atmospheric air into the top of the bowl. Otherwise, you starve the Venturi.
Yeah. So what you have is you have a tube, right? And if you have a constriction in the tube, and you have, like you said, 90-degree orthogonal, you got a tube there. Since you have the same amount of volumetric mass going through that pipe or that tube, you have a higher kinetic energy at that point. Well, in order to decrease your kinetic energy, you have to have a decrease of potential energy. So what happens is that part of that tube has a lower pressure. The pressure goes down because your kinetic energy goes up. That's why when you put your hand over a hose, you're restricting it. So what's happening is the kinetic energy is making it go further, but it's doing it by lowering the pressure.
It's one of the laws of fluid dynamics. I know that.
Kinetic energy goes up, potential energy goes down in these types of systems.
Listen. I'll go ahead and give this example in the only way that I know a flat earther will actually understand. Okay.
Occam's razor.
Why? Well, yeah. The reason why flat earthers don't do three body diagrams, and the reason why flat earthers don't do very basic math to figure out the difference between the gravity of basketball and the gravity of the Earth is because trying to get a flat earther to even understand the basics is like trying to get parts for the iMac Pro without having to go on the black market. So it's
You just
damn
go to
near
Apple.
impossible is basically what I'm trying to say here.
Jammy, $10 super chat. Nothing sucks. Everything blows. Congrats, my friend. I wish more stuff blew. Andrew, by the way, one sec.
What are you saying?
Hang on one second. Other people in here real quick. Andrew, I want to say hi to you. I haven't forgotten about you, and I haven't forgotten about Landon. I still want to get with you guys to fix my shit.
Okay.
For my Linux, but it's just been crazy.
Don't you need a proctologist to fix your poo?
Let's not go there because I've had problems in that apartment before.
No, I'm not the ass.
Brings up bad memories.
I feel really.
Have you ever had have you ever had to drink 4 liters? 4 liters. Do you know how much 4 liters is? That's it's 2 times more than 2 liters because we smart people.
It's like, God damn, Doc, using the whole hand?
4,000 milliliters, which is 4 liters of propylene glycol.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Propylene glycol. Go ahead. Just trust me. Just go ahead. Go to your pharmacy if it's over the counter. It's not over the counter. But get 4,000 milliliters of propylethylene glycol. You're gonna have a bad night.
Yeah.
That's right, kids. Stay in.
By the way, Andrew,
also,
you're squeaking.
So Smokehead single malt whiskey is my current thing of choice. But if I have to be exposed to more Android stuff, I may have to go to the harder stuff.
I don't blame you. Fuck Androids. I hate Android.
Hey, shut up! You shut up too, Steve.
Racist.
Dude, I'm not a fan of. I mean, I don't use iPhones, but Android. I have an Android phone. I don't like it. I don't like I don't even use Android. You know how you can get Linux where you have that. I don't know. It's KDA. It's
I'm just not a fan of the way that Apple treats their customers.
What's the desktop versions of they have KDA and they have a GNOME, but some of them are just like an Android, and I don't like it. You like how many tablets you need, dude?
Worf was way better than Gnome.
I don't have 1 tablet. He's got 4. What the hell you need 4 tablets for?
4? No, Trey got like about 20 of them.
Why?
Because I do programming on them all.
I got to stand with him on this multiple tablets thing because I've got a graphics tablet, I've got a studio tablet, I've got a live sound tablet.
I would love a tablet, and one of these days, what happened was I bought one. I actually splurged, and I bought a Atom. They were like $50. It was on sale. Nobody from 100. Very small. And I bought one.
I'm gonna let you finish. The Rosetta Stone was the best tablet ever.
No, what happened was I actually took my daughter out. Andrew, you really got a bad sound, by the way. If you need a second. Sorry. But we went out. She had won a championship for her softball game, and we went out for pizza. And she just accidentally knocked into me, and I dropped on the ground, and it shattered. And I was like, fuck. And she still felt so bad, and I was upset, but I didn't want to ruin her championship. So, but yeah, I broke my tablet. So
I'll give you my tablet when I come down. I don't ever use it.
Hey, I gotta run, guys, but I just wanted to pop in and say congratulations preemptively on your 1 million views. It looks like you're.
I'm so close.
A little bit over 100 views away. So.
I just hit it. I have 1,040 views. Let me just screen cap.
Yay! All right,
drink to that.
Okay, so I'm going to go for Grappa.
It shows less on the YouTube side. Oh no! Now it just updated.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Yeah.
So let's have a toast.
So congratulations!
Yay.
I gotta run, but cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, cheers! Let me have a
Steve.
shot.
Hey, Steve. So here's to 1 million. If anyone should make you mad, angry, or upset, then may their crotch be infested with the crabs of every whore in Tampa, and may their arms be too short to scratch.
Fuck the nasty stuff. Yes, exactly.
Are the Tampa whores particularly?
I knew Orlando whores. Yeah, Orlando.
Let's just say if you're ever in Tampa, I gotta take you to 49th Street.
I lived in Orlando, so I mean, yeah.
The seaside crabs are salty.
I grew up in Jacksonville.
I imagine crabs would be
rich
salty.
city.
They got them high class. They got those classy whores.
Look at that, 1 million.
The ones you take to Red Lobster.
Congratulations. A lot of hard work. Well deserved.
I can't believe that Non Sequitur hit that in a matter of like 6 months, though. I'm like, fuck! I've been spending years trying to get 1 million views, and I'm only at like 6,000 subs. I'm not even at like Red's Rhetoric level on this channel. Fuck, man.
The first million's the hardest.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah,
If you
as
die,
Steve McRae, Link doesn't work. You have to have a webcam plugged in order for it to actually go through.
Here's Red's way, not Red's. I mean, here's Rag's way to get 300,000 subs and millions of views on his videos. This is what he does. I play video games. I'm a dog, and social justice warriors suck my dick. That makes $1 million.
I would
Easy money, right?
Easy money, man. I'm not hating, by the way. Brilliant.
Pick
Who's
on the
the focus
low-hanging
ranks?
fruit.
It's the dog, man.
You are a cute dog.
It's what I am. It's who I am.
No, you're a disgusting furry.
I gotta admit, when I was watching your last live stream, you were doing it with I don't remember their names, but you were talking about
Logic.
No, it wasn't Logic. But Logic hates doing live streams, by the way.
Yeah, he has a live stream channel now. I did a live stream with Logic. It was pretty good.
I know, but he really doesn't care for doing live streams. He's going to come on Non Sequitur next.
He did it.
Yeah, no, I know
He was there.
Hey, Rags.
But let me finish what I was going to say first. You did it.
Shit. Okay, Steve, fine. It's your show. But after you're done, I would like
You're
to
all
talk,
beautiful. And
I was in the middle of telling him what I was watching. So I was watching you do a breakdown of the chick that had basically tweeted against somebody that was commenting against one of the things that she had making, and I can't remember the name of the thing she was working for.
What was this?
Basically, she was shitting all over this guy who really seemed to be cool, but he was just giving a polite, constructive criticism, and she shat all over him, and she got fired.
Oh, Jessica Price. Yeah.
You guys did a brilliant breakdown on that. I'm serious. I was enthralled by that, and I was like, wow. And I did do some, looking into it. I was like, this is actually like some fucked up shit what she did.
She's one of them Tampa hoes.
Yeah, she was mean. But anyways, I thought you guys did a real good commentary on that.
Yeah. By the way, Steve, Red Eye sends his congratulations to all the people there at GDC that put in hard work to get your 1 million views.
Yeah, and by the way, it is everybody because most of my channels is other people coming in. I have my own content, but it's very rare. You guys have to go back about 2 years to actually watch the videos that I actually made myself. They only have like 500 views, 300 views. They're pretty good actually, but they didn't get anywhere near the fucking shit I do now. So, anyways, complaint department.
Also,
I'm sorry, Wedge. You go first, and then complaints.
Yeah. So, Rags, quick thing.
Yes.
Is there any chance that you would be able to message me privately? I want to run something by you, just a kind of thing, not something for the public. And yes, it is porn related, just so people understand this. Is that possible if you have time?
Doggy porn.
You guys should just piss already.
You have a Discord.
No, I don't have a Discord. I have this old thing called an email.
You have a Zoom, but you don't have Discord.
Listen, the only reason I have Zoom is because Steve said if I didn't, then he was going to hurt my kitten.
Mm-hmm. And I love kittens. I don't want to hurt kittens.
That's kind of fucked up, Steve.
Hey, it's not a dog, so what the hell you got? What do you like? Care about other species now?
True. That is true.
Are you a speciesist? That sounds like a specious argument.
Yeah.
Wonton wants to come in and launch some Occam's bombs.
Sounds good to me. So anyway, Rags, if I give you my email in the chat, can you message me just real quick?
You just email me.
Okay, Jen, pass me your email and I'll go ahead and get that done.
Yeah, 1800 GETRAGS@gmail.com.
1800getrags@gmail.com.
Yes.
Perfect. That's a sexy email, good sir.
And it's pretty great.
So
it is nice, and it's awesome. Is that like a suicide helpline?
No, that's my email.
Yeah, because after you watch some of his videos, you might contemplate it, but
Oh my God, Steve! Fuck.
I love Rags, but his videos are really kind of the same thing. Hey, let's talk shit about this video game. Oh, these women are just being stupid. It's that kind of stuff, and it's great. He's always right. I think I agree with him just about on everything.
They're not always
but
they're all
pretty
bitches.
Mean. You're pretty mean. But I can't find fault what you say. That's what I'm like. Okay, well.
Some of them are nasty though.
Oh my God, yeah.
So I give as I respond in kind.
Yeah, again, not faulting you. But complaints department, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Zoom.
Welcome to the show.
So Wonton's coming on.
Yeah.
Is he actually brave enough to face me?
Give him the link. Complaints, can you hear us? Michael, is he there? Yeah. There you go. Hey, your mic's muted though. Unless you don't want to talk.
Oh,
My bad. I'm also doing schoolwork. I didn't want to
Oh, no
bug y'all
worries.
with
What's your schoolwork, man? What you working on, man? What you edifying yourself with tonight?
geometry.
Actually,
Geometry, really? Well, you know what? You could too to me because I did something really stupid tonight. I couldn't even fucking remember the quadrants. I had to ask Landon, who's a mathematician, because I was like, "Isn't it 1, 2, 3, 4?" He's like, "No, you idiot! It's 1, 2, 3, 4." I'm like, "Oh fuck, you're right."
So you went to basically the smartest guy on the planet for math homework help.
For literally just the quadrants, I couldn't remember. I was like, "Wait a minute, isn't it quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4?" Because the way I was thinking was, if you start on the x-axis, right, you had 0, and then when you rotate it this way. But then he reminded me, no, it's plus plus 0 plus 0 minus minus plus minus or something. So it's quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. I couldn't remember, so whatever. We all forget stupid shit every so often, right?
Yeah, I mean that happens. It happens, but you were able to derive it, so.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I'm not an idiot, so when you say something, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll think about that, do it in my head. You're right, or I'll be like, okay, either I'm right or the smartest person on the planet's wrong. I'm going to probably go with he's wrong, but I'm going to be like an idiot if I say that. But.
Yeah, but I've been wrong. In fact, that's part of the thing is showing people that you're wrong, and when someone points it out, you correct yourself.
Yeah, and like, for example, when we were talking earlier today, we were talking about the force that holds up for neutron degenerate pressure, and I couldn't remember for the life of me the name of it. I remember it was 3 names.
Oh yeah, I know. I hate it when it happens.
Well, I don't use it, right? And it was 3 names, and it's called the Tolid Oppenheimer Volsthoff mechanism, right? Or limit.
Oh yeah. The old
TOV.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
TOV. Yeah.
Now I couldn't remember that though. I was like, what the hell is that limit or that limit called? It's basically, how much a star can collapse upon itself before it breaches the threshold beyond neutron degenerate pressure where it becomes a black hole. We all should know this shit, right? But fuck, I couldn't remember it. I felt like an idiot. Somebody had to go look it up for me because I don't bother looking anything up.
Yeah, because he gets his degenerates wrong.
I get my degenerates confused. I knew one degenerate from another. I know electron degenerate pressure over neutron degenerate pressure over neutrino and whatever. So, come on. I ain't that far gone where I don't know the difference between electron and neutron degenerate pressure. Please. Yeah, Tolman, Oppenheimer, Volkov. Now, everybody should know this, but I forgot it, so I feel bad. Hey, happens,
Steve,
right?
can I do a shameless plug?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so there's a YouTuber by name of Soundly that everyone should go and subscribe to, just so you guys know. As soon as the Nikon P1000 gets in my possession and I stop masturbating to its glory, I'm going to head out to Lake Pontchartrain and do some observations with them. And let's just say there will be blood, and that blood will be anal.
Nice. So what
does
Soundly
But
do?
I thought Lake Pontchartrain was a NASA conspiracy.
It doesn't exist.
Well, it's actually a JAXA conspiracy. The Japanese actually beat us to that one.
And by the way, real quick, I saw Christy come in here. I didn't say hi to her, and she left. So why did my favorite lesbian? You ran off my favorite lesbian. Why did you do that?
Red, what does Soundly do?
Soundly is a guy who goes out and does direct observations of curvature. He is very famous for his Metabunk series on the Lake Pontchartrain power lines, where you can actually see these power lines curving with the surface of the Earth. If that wasn't good enough, he went to Lake Pontchartrain Causeway and got a hotel room where it's a little bit higher up in elevation. And the pictures that you see of this causeway curving with the Earth, they are beautiful. That observation was even computer modeled, and it shows that it matches predictions perfectly. He has done equinox observations that confirm the size and shape of our Earth, and is currently in the process of doing elevator videos where he has a 18-time optical zoom attached to a drone, and as the drone is gaining and losing altitude, you can actually see objects disappear and reappear from behind the horizon with altitude, showing demonstrable curvature.
Oh my! I think I might want to subscribe to
that's
that guy.
That's pretty cool and all. But what animal is he?
What animal he is? He has this thing called a human, unfortunately.
Oh well, fuck that guy then.
Yeah, he
has.
Rags,
listen. I'm not. I don't identify as a human because my face just doesn't allow me to believe that I am human. So I just identify as an attack helicopter and call it a day.
Yeah, Soundly actually identifies as a human. I know that's kind of crazy.
Speaking of hotels and water, I got back from Chicago recently. and that big old Lake Michigan is really big. That's all I have to say.
Really?
You might even say that it's great.
Yeah, it was like you really don't realize how
is it a
great
great
the
lake? You
lake
think? Is it a
is
great?
there.
I mean, is it? Well, it's not.
I mean, it's all right, I guess. But
Oh,
as far
shush.
as lakes go,
And it was right next to the Field Museum where I got this new picture of myself, the Cryolophosaurus, and it was also right next to the Shed Aquarium and the Alder Planetarium.
Where the fuck are your feathers, dude?
They're all over me. They're downy feathers.
I don't see no feathers on there.
they're
All over
downy
me. Why don't you
feathers.
fucking get your new glasses and check it out. Huh?
All right,
Yeah. Also,
Are they like
I
are
believe
those
you.
like bounty feathers?
Downy feathers.
downy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Down. Yeah.
listen, Rags, if it makes you feel any better, I'm an attack helicopter with the deal with it glasses, so I hope you can relate.
Jamie
It doesn't make
Sislow,
me feel better.
$10. Steve Raleigh S says congrats. Hashtag JammyCan. Well, thanks, Steve Raleigh.
Oh yeah, Jamie Cam. That's what we're calling the P1000 when I actually get it. And again, after I stop masturbating to its glory.
How many hundreds did they skip with their models?
Oh, I don't know. But if you look at this Cryolophosaurus face, it's modeled after the cassowary a little bit. That's what they said at the museum. And looking at the face, like, yeah, it's got blue around the eye and the red thing around the front of it. I don't know what to call that. I'm going to call it a waddle.
A waddle. All right, so real quick before we get to wonton,
Are you insinuating that dinosaurs and birds are related in some way?
Crazy talk.
I would never insinuate that at all.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Hey,
keep
let
an
me
eye on this
sneak a
guy.
question into Reds real quick. Got a quick question for Reds.
Oh,
That
shit.
Soundly, is that actually one of Mick's channels, or is that somebody else from the forum?
No, that's somebody else. So Soundly is a standalone channel.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you guys not know Stanley? He's been around forever.
I've heard Soundly's name, but I never bothered to search it.
All right, before we get to
Max-
wonton real quick, because I know Reds and Rags probably want, and Landon, because Landon loves talking to flat earthers, probably want to.
Max, hang on. Max, let me ask you a question. Do you love me?
No.
I think so.
Okay, good. Then subscribe to Soundly to prove your love to me.
Yes, Daddy.
Perfect.
Yeah,
That's
I don't let
not
people
creepy at all.
hold my love ransom.
Not creepy at all.
Listen,
little bit.
Rags. You're a dog. I'm a helicopter. It just wouldn't work out.
Hey, I don't know. I'm not. Who am I to judge? I get excited when a lesbian comes in, so whatever. I don't judge.
Oh no, I'm already subscribed to Soundly. Oh crap, I don't
Yeah,
even
so am
remember
I.
doing that.
Hi, Nacha.
G'day.
How
How
are
you
you, my
doing?
friend? I'm doing outstanding, my friend. Thank you.
His fucking thing, his face moves too. What the fuck?
Yeah, that trips a lot of people out. It's called a GIF.
I don't understand.
Unless you're the person who made GIFs, then it's called a GIF.
No,
Well, he
Steve,
you're
you're wrong.
wrong.
One of you.
Yeah, fuck him. He just made it up. I mean, he just.
Piece of
The
shit.
guy, the guy that created it, he can't call it.
Jeff, that's peanut butter, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. You see, people call my species Cryolophosaurus, but it's definitely Cryolophosaurus. So
We
just
we
get
have
good.
seized the means of pronunciation.
Like I said, so before we get to wonton, I do need to get another tablet. So recommend to me what you think. Moderately, cheap, but I do need to buy a tablet. I think because I want to be able to work on doing stuff from like laying down, and it's very difficult here. So I am going to get another tablet. So what do you guys suggest? I don't want to get an Android though.
Doesn't matter as long as it's Android.
I don't want an Android.
Steve, you just
So you-
need to.
you don't
fucking
want a free
upload
one?
this.
Well, if it's free,
Embrace
fuck.
it.
Yeah, no, free is fuck. I mean, dude. I mean, you know what?
I've got a Galaxy Tab 2.
A Galaxy tablet? What?
Yeah.
I got a
Yes.
Galaxy S8 Plus. It's pretty good. I don't know what Steve's problem is with Androids.
I don't like.
Yeah,
the
S9's pretty nice.
Well, okay, the bigger Androids are fine. I have a phone. It's about that big, and it's an Android. It's slow. It's cumbersome. It's no memory.
Get an S9. They're great.
No, I'd rather get a tablet Windows-based tablet. I want a Windows-based tablet because I want to be able to do things.
Oh,
like
then you're talking about a Surface?
Well, I want to
Yeah,
use like
get a
Blender
Surface.
and HitFilm. I want to use HitFilm and Blender because when I'm making renderings, I want to be able to design it on the tablet and then
Yeah,
port it
he
over
sure
to the computer and have it rendered on the computer.
Wait, Steve, what do you want to do in Blender?
I do 3D animations.
Yeah, but of what?
I don't know. I just shit. What am I?
Oh, and whoever said blend, fuck you.
Have you ever seen some of my stuff
No.
that I've done in Blender?
Just
No, I
do
haven't.
this. Just do this. Just get yourself a Surface Pro, call it a life, and you'll be happy.
Yeah, just get a Surface.
I mean, everything I've done so far, basically, I've gotten off other people. I just do the tutorials, but I've
I mean,
changed it to like
listen,
my
Mr.
daughter's name and
Million
stuff
Views. I'm pretty sure that since you're rich and famous now, you can actually afford a Surface.
And excuse me, wait a minute. Steve,
Yeah,
have
a million
you ever
views
heard of
over
this?
5 years. How much money do you think I motherfucking made, man? You go to Social Blade and see what my channel's worth. It's not that much.
Steve, have
I
you heard of
we
the
thought you guys was gonna get that Nikon sponsorship for your videos, man.
Oh, I'm
To
closer
make
to
the
that.
flat
I'm the one
earthers
with
mad.
I'm the one with 2.4 million views with a Nikon camera. So Nikon sponsor.
do that.
Come on.
Yeah.
Let's do
Because
this.
it's not just money for you. It's also imagine how angry flat earthers will be if Nikon sponsors.
God.
anti-flat earthers.
SpaceX.
The buffer.
That'll
Now
fucking
here's the
piss
thing.
them
When you
off
said that, I have like the strangest boner right now.
Yeah, like just make the new Nikon slogan is because the Earth isn't flat.
I love it.
So
It's like,
Wonton,
stop using our product to try and prove the Earth is flat.
well, Wonton, we have a flat earther in here, so why don't we?
Wait, Wonton actually joined?
He did actually join. Wonton is.
Oh, really?
Well,
Welcome,
I'm
Wonton.
gonna go on the. I'm gonna go and say he is a flat earther because I think he does believe it. Could be wrong. Could be a
Scary.
Poe. I don't know. Again,
I-
Poe's
I-
law.
gonna have this
Wonton's out of that
He
level.
said
You
many
don't know.
times he doesn't know what the shape is.
I didn't. I wasn't aware that he actually joined. I was on Pornhub the entire time.
Well, you're
quite
fapping
scared
the wrong
now
thing. So
if
fap
you
to this
take-
because you got a real life.
But I was gonna ask Reds, is the P1000 your attempt? Are you hipster? Are you giving the flat earthers the hipster treatment?
Man, you
Are
guys
you
really
into
like
the
this
own
P1000 thing, don't you?
Oh hell
Like-
yeah!
Yeah.
It's
You-
our.
they say P900, you respond P1000.
One more thing, Steve. Have you ever heard of
100
this
better.
this new invention called laptop?
Well, the only reason I want to get a tablet is because my laptop keyboard went out and it works, but there's some keys that don't work, so it's really kind of it's an old one. It's only like a dual core.
Which keys are they? Like shitty ones you never use?
No, it's like it's weird.
page down.
It's weird.
It's
It is O, P, and it is like Alt, Control, and Shift. It's just now I can use the on board, so it's still usable, and I watch it to watch TV when when I'm laying down. But I no longer can really use it to do anything. But I think a tablet might be easier to. I don't know, a laptop or a tablet. I don't know which one's better. It's a trade off to each one. I guess.
I sent you a link.
I can buy a
great.
Chromebook. I got.
Model in chat.
I can spend $200 for a
Think it
Chromebook.
works.
I'll be okay with that. But Chromebook doesn't win Windows, so
Is Blender supported? Blender have tablet support?
I don't know.
I guess
I
we'll
guess we
find
can check.
out.
But it has Windows support, so maybe a Windows tablet.
All right, I'll show.
Yeah,
While you
sure.
guys are doing that, I'll show you a video that I made in Blender. Now, again, it was a tutorial, but I did have to change over all the settings to make it appear to do my daughter's name. Or like,
Okay,
great
so
Blender is a video editing program.
It's a 3D renderer more than anything.
Yeah.
You
A
can do
3D
it-
renderer
Yeah,
you can make
I'll
animations.
show you what I made on it.
for the pictures
No,
and the imagegraphs.
no,
Something
you can
along
make
those lines.
3D animations with it and stuff.
Oh, with the pixels.
I'll show you what I made with it. Okay, but
It's-
while we're doing that,
it's something like
Wonton,
that.
Wonton, help me out here, dude. Talk to Reds.
How you doing, guys? Congratulations on the 1 million views.
Thank you, sir.
Yay!
I am joining you with a beer myself.
Beer's
Nice.
good.
Here's right.
So you haven't migrated on your position of flat Earth thing, right? You still flat
No,
Earth?
it can't be shook. Once you go flat, you can't go back.
What?
Isn't that like called being?
Nothing more
we
frightening
think it's
than
more.
ignorance and action.
Yeah, we think it's more. Once you go flat, you might as well just kill yourself. But we see what you're going with.
Oh wow!
Oh, no, that's,
that was
Was that dark? I'm sorry.
that's typical.
Don't
Global.
don't do that,
Typical-
Wonton.
typical
I don't
Global
condone
speak.
violence. I don't want to see you hurt yourself.
Typical global speak.
other than mentally.
You're being cruel to an oppressed
Violence,
minority.
insults,
All right.
edgy insults. That's all you guys do.
Wait, before you talk to
No.
Reds, let me ask you, why did it? Like I said, we were trying to find people to come on the Non Sequitur show. We do that every so often. And the other night, I found a flat earther I've never seen before, but he knew everybody. And I said, okay, maybe I'll call in, see if he wants to come on the Non Sequitur show. More exposure than he had, because he only had 40 people watching, 1,000 subs or something like that. I say, I call in, and I'm like, he's like, who's this? And I'm like, oh, it's Steve the Non Sequitur show. I know who you are. You're an asshat. Click. You didn't give me not a conversation like we have. I mean, we don't ever say you're a flat earther, Wonton. Get the fuck out of here, do we?
No.
No. We have
But that's not-
conversations.
we just with something Reds will probably say.
on him.
Not at first.
Reds would
Not at
never
first.
do
Yeah,
that.
not at first. Yeah.
Fair
point. Fair point.
So, what about me makes you so uncomfortable, Wonton? Please
You
tell
don't
me your
make me
problem.
uncomfortable at all. Don't listen. You deserve no credence whatsoever. You do not make me uncomfortable. I just don't even want to. Let him want to. Like, you're not even worth my time because all you try to do, especially with
Here
that
you
last,
are.
especially with that last debate that you had with Southern Israelite, like you literally, like he pressured you into a corner, and what do? Your defense mechanism is you talk really, really fast. You try to trample the opponent in a freaking word salad, and then you just try to come up, and then you try to come up with the most edgiest, smarmiest, hipsterish, insult that you can
Hipster? You
possibly
think Rez is
come
a
up.
hipster?
Oh, suck my balls! Oh, dude, you gotta get my dick out of your ass because I just wrecked you. Like, you're such a child. It's so funny how much.
Hey, hang on, guys.
The problem is that
Before we all
Southern
jump on this,
like really
before we all
bad.
hang on, before we all
Landon,
jump
everybody cannot
I kind of feel
One
sad.
at a time.
before
Go ahead, Reds, because everybody can't talk at once because then nobody hears.
yeah, before we all jump on this. Okay, Wonton, I'm gonna give you a chance here for a first shot, free shot. No edgy, no up your ass sideways comments or anything like that. Name one thing, just one thing that Southern Israelite pushed me to a corner on, and I will address it directly. I challenge you to stump me for just 5 seconds. Go.
I don't remember the entire debate. I just seen it. I was watching it, and when he was pressuring you, your automatic defense mechanism, like in all of your other debates, is you try to come up with the most edgiest insult that you can possibly get at, so that you can like woo the crowd. And
So there
the
was
crowd can be
literally
and so the
nothing
crowd
that you
be
can
like,
point
"Oh,
to that he
wrecked
cornered
him.
me on.
Oh, he got wrecked. Oh, that's all you care about is the wrecked, no insults. That's all you care about. You're a child.
You got
R-E-A-T.
What I do, Wonton, is I state the facts. And when I was debating Southern Israelite, I give people as much respect as they give me. So Southern Israelite is coming out of this with a piss poor attitude and deciding to disrespect me to the point where he starts strawmanning my position. At that point, the correct response is go fuck yourself.
Southern
So if
Israelite did
I
not-
will go ahead and
Southern-
give
first of all, Southern
someone
Israelite
the
did not
respect
use one
when they
curse
have
word
enough
the entire
intellectual
debate.
honesty to actually address the arguments that I am putting on the table.
Southern Israelite did not use one curse word the entire debate. So every single curse word that was said the entire debate came from your mouth. So what are you saying? How are you saying that?
I have a
He
question.
disrespected you.
All
How
right,
can he
hang on,
disrespect you to a point
hang on,
where
hang
you're
on.
like, oh,
I
get my
didn't-
dick
I
out of
didn't
your
say-
ass.
I didn't say
wrecked you.
curse word, dude. I said straw man.
Okay, first of
So
all,
what?
first
So
of
what,
all,
straw man?
first of
Grow
all,
up, you
first of all,
fucking retard.
Wonton, you guys cannot talk over each other. I know there's some animosity there, okay? But when you talk over each other, nobody can fucking hear you. So, anyways, real quick, I put the link in the chat if you guys want to watch this, but I'm gonna show the outside chat. This is
Hey,
what you
Steve.
hang on. This is what you can do in Blender.
You sent that to me privately.
Oh, did I? Can you share it?
You didn't.
Can you share it to everybody else privately?
Million views, yeah, on the goddamn thing.
All right, so I didn't mean to share it privately. This is actually what I did in Blender. The outside chat can see it, and this is what I did for my daughters. Is that pretty cool? This is what you can do in Blender. So
Nice.
there you go. You can.
So can I finish?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, so the fact is that when I get strawmanned, that is my point where I go, okay, if that's the way you want to go ahead and play this and not actually address my arguments, then you don't deserve any respect from me.
Well, he did
And
strawman you.
I also like how I'm being told to grow up, and yet you're apparently so much of a snowflake that you can't handle a few curse
I'm
words.
not a snowflake. I just, when I hear like when people like Robinson Jennings comes on the show, he has respect and he has courtesy to other people. You're never going to hear a man like Robinson Jennings come off and be like, "Oh, get my dick out of your ass, you got wrecked." Like, that's all you do,
So
right?
what?
You're a fucking child. You're a 4-year-old. You don't know how you got no respect whatsoever. And I don't feel like addressing people who have no respect. That's all.
Yeah, then you're not going to address anyone that doesn't have any respect. Then I have to wonder why you're sucking Southern Israelites' dick so hard, considering he's.
Oh,
a
here we
strong-
go. Here we go. Here it is. Oh, you sucking dick so hard. There it is. There's the fucking edgy insult. You're such a child.
Oh yeah, and look at you using the word "fuck." Oh,
I
look at
just
this.
see-
This special
Yeah,
little snowflake
you're
that's now a
mad.
fucking hypocrite too.
What do you ever do? You just want to woo the crowd. You want to make the crowd go, "Oh, wrecked. Oh, wrecked." That's all you care about.
Wonton, your
You have
piss
no
poor
argument.
performance is the only way they're
I
going to
have
say
no
wrecked in
argument.
this
You have
case.
no arguments.
Oh, wrecked in this case.
Wrecked.
Read from a script.
Fucking destroyed.
Script.
While you guys are bickering, I'm going to show the outside chat one more that I did. This was for the
Sounds
Great Debate
good.
community because you won't be able to
Once
see it.
Wonton actually wants to present an argument or present even one point in that actual debate where I was cornered on anything, be my fucking guest. Until then, quit your bitching.
mean, one of the problems I had when watching the Southern Roy stuff is that he was nearly wrong on everything he said, and it's very difficult to respect someone who is completely and fundamentally wrong.
Right, but that
on
doesn't
all
justify you saying to get my dick out of your ass. That doesn't justify that.
No, I didn't.
That's
by the
not
way,
an, that's not an
I'm
argument.
sorry,
That's not an
Juan,
argument.
I don't say words like that.
Exactly.
I'm not
Exactly, because
you do not hear those kind of words coming out of me.
Exactly.
I'm
Because you're
saying,
respect, and I respect that also. So I do not respect Red's rhetoric because he has absolutely no respect for any single person that he has ever debated in his entire life. Never.
well, you know,
There's
his
no respect
name,
at all.
Red's rhetoric.
Okay, that's
kinda
not an
gives
argument,
you-
though.
I don't care. It's not an argument. I'm not making an argument. I'm making a statement about Red's
We
rhetoric.
know that. That's the problem.
I'm not making an argument for flat Earth. I'm making an argument against
know.
Red's rhetoric and his debating
But,
strategy.
okay. So hang on. Red's rhetoric. Let's clarify this because if anybody disagrees with this, please tell me. Red's rhetoric. You're an asshole.
Yes.
Okay. So
I'll drink to that.
And another thing I find
All right.
funny is
So we already got that out of the way.
another thing I find funny is like when I used to come on the show a lot and I never showed my face. Everybody in the chat and all of you guys, you would call me a coward and I'm a Poe and I don't show my face and this and that. And what does this guy do?
I
When
never
you gonna
did.
show your face,
Wait a minute.
Red
I
Red?
never did. One
When you going to
person.
show your face
What?
and not be a coward and not be a
I can tell
Poe?
you why, but one person only asked you that. It wasn't me. But somebody else did. I don't care if somebody goes on camera or not because I understand the need for an anonymity.
Well, Mr. Atheist did. I believe that you called me a Poe a few times. Everybody in the chat did. They forget about it, what they say about me. And
In
then I
my
finally
opinion,
showed
the
my
only
face
reason-
because for the simple reason that I did not show my face. I was getting a whole shit ton of hatred. People calling me all these kind of names. But you never once showed your face on camera. So you're a
Yeah.
fucking coward and you're a fucking Poe. How about that one, jerk off?
Wonton,
don't
there's
say fuck, that's not
a
right.
big problem there. There's a big problem with literally everything that you said. So the big problem is that I've never called you a coward for the simple fact that you've never showed your face. So right there, you're committing the exact same basic bullshit that Southern Israelite.
Everyone on your side called that's what they
strawmanning
call
my
me. Everyone on
position.
your side, that's what they
How
call me.
about
How about you show your face?
Who's
Wonton?
everybody? I never
How
said
about-
anything.
Hang on. How about you actually address what I bring to the table instead of straw manning like a fucking bitch?
I'm not straw manning
Hey,
anything.
Wonton,
What am I straw
can I
manning?
ask you a
I'm not straw
question,
manning anything.
Wonton?
You just love that word. You just love to toss that word around. I didn't straw man you about anything.
Oh, really? You're really so you want to go ahead and rewind this thing to like the last 20 fucking seconds?
What did I straw man about?
Yeah, you
Well,
strongman
okay.
my position that I said something about your cowardice when I never have.
Can I ask you a
I
question,
didn't even talk to you
Wonton?
one
Hey,
time. This
you
whole-
also-
what do you think?
you also
what's the
told
word
I didn't even
everyone
talk to you once this whole time.
mean?
you
What is
face
the word everyone mean?
icon?
Yeah, you said
Sorry,
everyone.
he's the actions
One
of
time you said
people in
everyone.
the chat.
I have never called you a coward because
Yeah.
you don't show your face.
Yeah, I couldn't care less about
So
that.
so I
Yeah.
think Wonton, the best thing to do is to own up to that mistake and apologize.
Yeah.
No.
Oh wow, how
Mislabeling?
It is definitely on record that Mr. Atheist absolutely called me a
Wonton,
Poe and a
can I
coward
ask you a
for not
question?
showing
is
my
Mr.
face.
Atheist here?
Atheist, yeah.
No, but I'm saying that people
Wonton.
on your side and everybody in the chat. I'll scroll. How about you scroll up in the chat right now and look at what I think it was Lucifer Almighty or one of your other mods said that called me a coward because I didn't want to join the chat, but here I am. right?
Wait,
I'm not a
wait. First of all,
fucking coward.
his name's Lucifer. Do you really give a shit with somebody named
No, but
Lucifer?
I'm just saying.
And
listen,
I
I'm
love
just saying
Lucifer
that people
Almighty.
on
Don't
your
get me wrong.
side call me names
Great.
because I don't show my face, but then I showed my face, but you never showed your face. So how come nobody calls you?
Wonton.
Okay,
yeah,
so-
I
wait,
never
Wonton.
show my
You're
face.
polluted and you're brainwashed.
One thing I've said about people who do not show their face online is that it doesn't matter. What matters is if their arguments can stand on their own merits.
Right.
I've said that since day one.
Right.
Yet
I
you're
agree.
asking me to basically back up these other people that are supposedly on my side. Did I say the word on my side, or is that?
Yeah, why you-
What I'm saying, it's unjust to call me a coward and call me a
Right.
Poe.
Wotan, we agree
Never
with
show
you.
your face.
Wait. Hang
Yeah,
on.
we
You're doing
agree.
guilt by association. Myself, Reds, and I don't think anybody in here ever called you a coward for not showing your face. So you're doing guilt
I
by
haven't.
association.
Never have.
So why are you attributing what somebody else did? By the way, I've gotten other people for that, and I've said, who gives a shit if they have their face on camera or not? I understand the need for anonymity. So I have never said it. I will. If somebody says, "Well, you're a coward, you don't show your face," I'll tell them that's bullshit. You know me. I don't play these tribalistic games. I'll get in my mods. I'll get anybody else, and I love Lucifer. But if he says you're a coward for not showing your face, I'll be like, "Yeah, come on, dude. That's not how it works."
I'm not accusing anybody on the panel. The only one I don't think anybody.
That's not what
anyone-
Lucifer
I think
said,
may-
by
I
the
think-
way. You did straw
I think
man.
maybe Steve. I think maybe you might have called me a Poe a few times, but that's about it. But
Well, yeah, no,
everybody
I did, and I
but
said,
your
well,
entire audience,
I don't
your
know. You
whole
might be.
audience blatantly calls me a Poe.
Maybe it's because of the things you said.
But Wonton, you just said your entire audience. I'm part of the audience. Other people are part of the audience.
But I'm
So-
not saying you.
Okay, so
I'm saying the people
You
in the chat.
but you have to understand how
maybe Wonton, maybe what you should say is that there's a number of people who do that, right?
Exactly.
That way you don't.
I'm not.
you don't
I said I'm
target-
not personally attacking each one of you individually.
Yes, you are. When you say all
Yes,
the audience.
everybody.
How does
What
how
we
does
are
now you guys are being
vernacular, not the core of your message, but your vernacular.
You're
That's
being
what we're
pedantic about the people.
criticizing.
This guy knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay,
He's
so
trying to
how
be
about we do
pedantic.
this? How about we
Trying
do
to
this?
corner me
Listen.
into a logical fallacy.
All right, Wonton, how about we do this?
It's ridiculous.
All right, Wonton, how about we do this? Let's have some fun here. We're all friends, okay? You.
No, fuck you, Steve.
I tried to get it out there with a straight face. Come on, what do you want me to do here? Okay,
Fuck
just
you,
cut me
Steve.
some slack.
Seriously, fuck off.
Fuck off, people. Okay, we all hate each other, but this is good. So you guys can have a discussion, but how about we do this? Allow myself and Landon to kind of stop with the fallacies, right? Because you do both agree that Landon and I do understand fallacies for the most part.
Mhm.
Okay, so why don't you let us be kind of the not so much moderators, but if for example Wonton does an ad hom to you or something like that, you call it out. Between Landon and I, we'll determine if you committed a fallacy or not. And I will be, dude, trust me, I'll get on red shit just as fast as anybody else, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure Landon will too. And I think Wonton, you know me well enough to know I don't play this tribalistic shit. If red fucks up, red fucks up, right? So why don't you guys have a conversation, but lay off the fallacies, okay? Because what you're doing right now is guilt by association. And straw manning, because nobody's made those arguments.
Sounds good to me.
Another thing I want to point out.
Red's Reddit person did not say that he called me a coward or a pole. I'm saying that people.
Okay, but we don't give a shit what people do. We're not talking about people.
Okay,
Fuck
I'm just trying to clarify that. Don't
Okay.
call me these names, but then Red's Rhetoric does the same exact fucking thing. That's all I'm saying.
All right, so Nacho, you had something to say?
Yeah, I just want to say if there's more people, like if it ends up everyone talking over each other, I'm going to yell at you all to shut the fuck up.
All right, so I'll tell you this. Landon and I will handle the fallacy shit. Nacha, you're in charge of one thing. Make sure they don't fucking overtalk each other.
I'm happy with that because it's just because I want to be able to listen to what's going on. I don't really know either of you, so I don't take any sides.
Yeah, and nobody pulls out their penis. Make sure nobody does that.
And I'll smoke cigarettes for Steve.
And Michael can smoke cigarettes because
Damn
he's
it.
doing it. I'm doing it vicariously through him because I don't smoke anymore.
Nice.
I'm just gonna have to put my pants back on.
I just want people to get to the damn arguments already.
I agree
All
with
right,
you.
let's do it.
All right,
That's a good one.
all right. So everybody else, share this video while you're doing this. Everybody else,
I'd like to ask a question. So first of all, one of my biggest problems for the Earth and the atmosphere problem is the fact that when the Earth first formed, obviously it was a bunch of rocks that coalesced into one giant planet. So you guys believe, and then now this proto-Earth has no atmosphere and it is completely 100% enveloped in a vacuum. There is absolutely no atmosphere, and then an atmosphere somehow magically forms around this planet. Yet there's this perfect vacuum just completely enveloping the entire Earth. Now, how can an atmosphere possibly ever form on the Earth when it is in a complete vacuum? Now, I work with gases, okay, so I know a thing or two about pressure systems. So obviously, if there ever is any pressure that will ever build up on the Earth, it's going to be immediately, it's going to spread out in every single direction possible to seek the lowest pressure, right? Because that's what happens with gases. The higher pressure goes to lower pressure. So the atmosphere will never be able to form around the Earth because any pressure that is built up would be immediately expanded out into the infinite vacuum of space. So how does the atmosphere form on Earth? And now you're gonna say gravity. Oh, gravity is okay. So then, I'm gonna answer my own questions for you because I already know what you're gonna say. So, do you have an experiment proving that gravity can hold down an atmosphere against a perfect vacuum?
All right. So let's go ahead and answer the first question. How did the atmosphere form? The atmosphere formed by outgassing. And outgassing from a protoplanetary material, you started with boulders. And those boulders collided to make bigger boulders, and so on and so forth. As objects that are bigger in mass started coming together, there was a lot of energy that got expelled in that process, therefore a lot of heat. That massive amount of heat allowed it to outgas a lot. And after you got to a certain threshold, the Earth pulled itself into a spherical shape underneath the pull of its own gravity. And after the Earth got to an even bigger sufficient size or mass, it had enough gravity to hold on to the gases that were being outgassed by the formation process. And then eventually, when you have the Earth cooling down, what's left over is a primordial Earth atmosphere. And if you want to know how this works, it is a fact that vacuum is just that. It's just a void. It doesn't have any force. A vacuum is not a force. Vacuum is just empty space. So if you have a force that is within that empty space, a force is going to naturally be the dominant thing in that equation. You have nothing and you have the force of gravity. The force of gravity is obviously going to win. Now, you asked for an example of gravity holding an atmosphere to the Earth next to a vacuum. And I played for you my rocket launch video of the Atlas 5551 doing a lumosity transfer. There you actually see the different layers of our atmosphere getting thinner and thinner and thinner as altitude is increased. So
right,
as
but
the rocket was going up,
you're not.
the
Okay, let's
atmosphere
back
got
to
so
I
thin
don't want you to keep going and going because I'm going to forget the replies. So first of all, your first answer.
Okay, never mind. Don't even bother. Let me finish.
Because you're going to keep going and going and going, and I'm not going to be able to reply. I'm going to forget what to reply to. Let me just segment it. So the first thing that you said was that, this outgassing and the this and the that, that's all a 110% theory. There is absolutely not a single remote shred of any kind of evidence whatsoever to support that at all, except that you just believe that it had to happen that way because otherwise your universe doesn't work. So you have to believe that. So then the second part is that you say that this rocket goes out into outer space and then the gases, they get expelled out from the back of the rocket, which would begs the question, well, why doesn't that happen to every single other rocket that's ever been launched into outer space? But besides the point, so this gas gets expelled out and you see the gases being expelled, but that doesn't prove that, number one, that Earth has this gravitational force, and number two, it doesn't prove that this gravitational force is strong enough to hold down the atmosphere. All that's proving is that this rocket is going up in space, and obviously, which I absolutely believe, that the gases will be expelled outwards from the back of the rocket. That's obvious because I work with gases all the time. That's not even a debate. So that doesn't prove that gravity is holding an atmosphere to the Earth, and it doesn't prove that your first answer doesn't prove it's a 100% theory that how the atmosphere can possibly have formed to begin with.
So, Steve, I'm going to ask you a question. I think there might have been a fallacy, and he's talking about theory, saying that's just a theory, and he's talking about proof. So
that's an equivocation fallacy.
Yes.
The reason that's an equivocation fallacy is because the word theory that we're using it to mean is a confirmed model.
Okay.
Not just
confirmed model, but then 100 years from now, some guy could come out and come up with another confirmed model, which is completely 110%
that's fine. That's
ass backwards, 180 degree difference.
Yes.
Right. So a confirmed model is not absolute proof.
We're not talking. Well, hang on. Let's clarify this. Yeah. Let's clarify this. There's no such thing as absolute proof. It doesn't exist. You're asking.
Well, then I don't believe it that the Earth is round.
Let me finish. A confirmed model means best evidence that we have available to date. It is falsifiable because somebody could come along and change that. Although we've never had a major paradigm like that, but it could theoretically happen. But you can never have epistemic certainty. So what you're asking for is impossible because of limitations of our abilities to understand and know things. So you're asking for things that Reds nor anybody else could ever do. So you have to be, you're asking for something, you have to ask something that is actually able to be produced. Not impossible to be produced.
I don't believe you that you're going to say that this outgassing happened when you have absolutely no fucking idea that this outgassing. I don't even know what outgassing is. And if you were to define outgassing and you were to make a credible, believable thing with this outgassing, that doesn't mean that that's what happened. That just sounds like a credible idea that that's what could have happened, but that doesn't mean that that's exactly what did happen. And that doesn't mean that that's how the planet formed, and that doesn't mean that that's how the atmosphere was able to form around the Earth. It's just a 100% theory that you just think up in your mind.
That's not what theory means.
No, that's not theory. That's another fallacy.
That's a fallacy.
Do you guys want to do this debate for me?
Well, we're just telling you it's a fallacy. That's what I said.
Our role is to producing.
Okay. You say there is no evidence that this outgassing occurs. I have a list of over 1,000 astronomical bodies that are currently in the process of outgassing, including every single comet that you see, because that tail is caused by outgassing. In fact, one of Saturn's moons was also a target of great interest because it was outgassing water. In fact, the Cassini spacecraft flew through these plumes and literally got its first taste of what that water could hold in terms of possibility of life. Outgassing happens. Now, if we also know how the atmosphere works and how it holds itself to the Earth via gravity, it's clear that any object of sufficient mass that is undergoing the process of outgassing will be able to hold on to that outgas, or the gas that was outed, if you will. And the Earth is of sufficient mass that it can hold its atmosphere to it against a pull of nothing, which is a vacuum. Vacuum does not mean suck. Vacuum just means void. And so you have a force next to a void. The force that is actually acting upon it is going to win. And this is why I gave you that observation earlier. But there's another one that you can do. Have a deflated balloon over a empty bottle and then drive up a really tall mountain. You will see that balloon slowly start to fill. So it shows that there is density gradients at work here. And those density gradients conform perfectly to what the, quote, theory of gravity would assert, because that theory of gravity also comports with the pressure systems that we are able to independently measure. So even though we could say, oh, gravity is just a theory, it could be unicorn pixie farts for all we know, that's fine. The point is that we have a model of reality that is allowing us to make accurate predictions like that one. And based on that, it may not be an absolute truth, but it is the type of information that one is most reasonable to believe in. It's not about what is absolutely true, because that type of absolute, honestly, I agree with Steve, is impossible to obtain. It is maximal certainty, not ultimate certainty. What is the best model that gives us the best explanation for our reality? What is the most reasonable position to hold? And I would say that the position that has verifiable modeling that can give us accurate predictions is the one that we should go for. Go.
We have two super chats. I got to get out of the way because there are questions that are pertinent too. So first super chat, Jammy, what gives any gas pressure in the first place? So what causes the gas pressure? Wonton, you want to take this one first?
The container.
No, what causes the gas pressure?
The container being around it, and then the input of gas into that container causes pressure.
Okay. Reg, how would you answer that question?
What gives it pressure?
What produces the gas pressure?
The amount of gas in a given volume.
Okay, volume per unit area. Okay. Next question. Convert me. Hey, Convert. You're welcome to come in too, Convert, by the way. By all means. Hell, you can take over. Second ever super chat. Ford table or booze? Thank you. I'm going to look at tablets, I think. Booze, I don't drink that much. Ask Landon if I'm correct in thinking that the pressure outgassing is why we use multiple stage rockets, at least regards to Bell rocket designs.
Yes, correct. Because the thing is that a little bit of history. The way the rocket nozzles work is that they have to take in atmospheric pressure in order for them to work efficiently. The reason why the second stage of the Falcon 9 rocket is the same rocket engine but with a different nozzle design is because it's designed to work more efficiently within a vacuum. The Merlin engines that are on the first stage of the Falcon 9 have a smaller nozzle because they're designed to work within atmosphere of a higher pressure, so closer to sea level. I think they're more efficient or most efficient when the rocket is hitting max Q, which is maximum dynamic pressure on the entire vehicle. So yes, those are taken into account because it maximizes the efficiency of the rocket itself.
So Steve, was the question directed to me, or did you?
It was, but I mean, Rez answered it.
So one of the things that you'll find in rocketry systems is that pushing the rocket through the lower dense atmosphere requires a lot of energy, requires a different configuration for optimal motion, right? And so you have a different type of system in the dense air, closer to Earth's surface versus lower pressure, higher up to the and I will call it near vacuum of space. People keep talking about the vacuum of space. There's actually material in it. It's not complete void.
Right.
It's a very, very low vacuum on there. And these are experiments also that we conduct on Earth here. So there are experiments where we have built a sublimating surface that gives you a fairly somewhat dense atmosphere on the edge, and due to centripetal force, you have a very high vacuum in the center. So you can actually have a gas, an atmosphere next to a vacuum. The reason why it works on rockets is because you have accelerating force, like gravity. The other way you can do that is by a centrifugal force. And like a centrifuge.
If someone wants to look it up, you can go look up Solyovsky. I think it's how you pronounce it. He's Russian. Rocket equation is basically delta V is equal to initial velocity times natural logarithm of your mass initial over your mass final. Because as you go up in space, you're burning mass, right? And so your rocket efficiency is going to change. And so you have a lot of dynamics that are affecting the efficiency of that rocket. So as you're going up, the rocket gets more and more efficient, because it's burning more fuel, is less heavy, and so that's a rocket. There's a curve for that. So if you want to learn about rocket physics, start with the rocket equation.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask a question real quick?
Sure.
How come there's been so much testing? It seems like real world testing of the Aerospike engine, but never like a actual use of it on a rocket, into space.
Yeah, the Aerospike engine is, for those of you who don't know, think of a rocket nozzle that's turned inside out, essentially. And it's meant to compensate or use the atmosphere around it to judge how the nozzle is, or how the thrust, I guess, is going to be vectored outward. So it can work theoretically at any altitude and be, optimally efficient. It was initially supposed to be tested by Boeing, but literally at the last second, funding got pulled. I think the issue holding back the Aerospike engine right now is what does it do that's better other than for single stage to orbit rockets? But single stage to orbit rockets are a lot more inefficient, and if you can bring the first stage back, you will actually make up what you would have gained by using the Aerospike engine in the first place. And since we already have our shit together when it comes to, like, for example, the Bell design engine, people would much rather go with those and mass produce those, since it's already a proven reliable system, and we can get the amount of funding that we would have saved by using the Aerospike back by landing the first stage booster, as SpaceX has demonstrated. The new ULA rocket, which is going to be called the Vulcan rocket, has a detachable engine base from the tank that's going to come down on chutes with an inflatable heat shield. And it's going to be captured in midair by a grappling hook, as a process that was pioneered back in the 1960s. So the most expensive part of the entire rocket, the engine, is going to be reused even on ULA's new rockets. So there's really no benefit to using the Aerospike unless you're using single stage to orbit, methodology.
Let's kind of table. Hang on. Let's table this. I want to go back to the wonton flat Earth stuff.
Okay.
Bring it all back.
Bring it home, baby. Bring it all back. Bring it back.
Oh, I thought we were going to answer that question, but don't worry.
No, it's a dumpster fire. Let's let it go, Landon. Yeah. Let it go. Let it go. People are going to fall asleep.
Assume you're right.
So wonton, if you haven't burned your brain cells out yet, go ahead.
I mean, I'm still waiting on the evidence to prove that the atmosphere can form in the proto-Earth.
Oi!
That hasn't been answered.
So last half hour didn't happen then.
No, that was just a 100% theoretical jargon. That there was no proof of any evidence of atmosphere being able to form in a vacuum whatsoever.
Do you accept that?
Yes.
Well, hang on.
Pressure always seeks lower pressure. Always. So if you're in an infinite
it does.
void,
That's not true.
It does not.
Cite the law for that. Cite the law.
Pressure.
What law is that?
Occam's
law?
Occam's razor. Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, Occam's Razor. Yeah, well, if you're going to cite something like that, you got to give me what you said.
Well, I just know that for a fact. Like I know for a fact when I
but that's a fallacy.
If I would have opened up, let's say
you don't know it for a fact because it's not true.
Like you guys said before that there's no force in a vacuum, but like if I'm in a room of 14 psi, right, which is I think the pressure of the atmosphere of the Earth, 14 psi, something like that, 13.7 or whatever.
14.6.
So
if I remember right.
14.6.
Is it 14.7? Yeah, 14.7. Yeah.
Whatever, doesn't matter. Just for argument's sake, 14 psi.
Sea level, yeah.
Let's say I have a tank.
Yeah, 14.7. You're right.
Let's say I have an oxygen tank that is under 30 psi. If I open that tank, obviously there's no force causing the gas to go out of the tank. The only reason why it goes out because the valve opened.
No.
And it's
Okay. First, let's clarify a few things.
The gas is going to seek lower pressure.
Tom, let's clarify a few points. The word force has a very specific meaning in science, especially in physics. Okay, the word force literally means to change a vector, to have influence such that something is changing a vector. Okay, so when you're saying there's no force that's causing something to go from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration, you have a non sequitur because the only way to do that.
Well, then by definition, then the atmosphere of the Earth and then the
don't use definitions you're not familiar with.
Would be under those same exact law. It would be under that same exact law. The high pressure would go to the low pressure,
except
which is infinite perfect vacuum of space, and it would just go infinitely out.
Except for two major problems that you have with that. One is Landon explained, it's not a perfect vacuum, right? And two, you have something overcoming that force. It's called gravity.
Right, now you prove that gravity is this magic word. It's like, and you could literally, what you could do in Globe Earth is, what you could do with them, you could just insert the word gravity with.
We call those people.
You could just call them. You could just insert gravity with invisible pink unicorns.
So one time.
Yeah, hang on.
Pink unicorns made the
oxygen.
Rez, go ahead.
You know,
okay, I'm gonna ask to not be interrupted as I go through this. Okay, so Wonton made the claim that a medium of higher pressure is always going to venture towards a medium of lower pressure until you have eventual equilibrium between the two systems. That way, there's no lesser pressure existing next to the bigger one. They'll eventually equal each other out. So if you have a container and one in a vacuum, one with pressure, open the door between them, they'll equal each other out. Well, then that would pretty much lead to a contradiction when we're referring to another medium called water. Because as we know, there is no container, there is no barrier of the oceans, yet the deeper you go, the more atmospheres of pressure you have to deal with. So if a medium of higher pressure cannot exist next to a medium of lesser pressure, then why do we have a medium of higher pressure of water existing next to a medium of lower pressure water, and the only distance between them is depth? What barrier is in between those? So if a higher pressure is always going to go to lower pressure, then why aren't the oceans of the world equal pressure no matter the depth that we're at?
One is water, one is oxygen, right?
Both of them are fluids.
You realize they're both fluids, right?
Because they behave the same, but they're not the same physically, right? One is a liquid and one is a gas.
No,
well, the atmosphere does the same thing. Yeah, they're both fluids, but the atmosphere also lowers in pressure the higher you go, so they behave the same way.
Right, and you have the cold air near the land of the Earth because the cold air is denser than the hot air, and the hot air rises. That's why it's very windy near the shoreline, near the beaches, because you have the cold water, which is interacting with the warmer oxygen of the air, and it's creating an updraft. And that's exactly why you have.
Why is atmosphere different than water? What's so special about the atmosphere that makes it act differently than water? Then
the atmosphere of the Earth.
Yeah, why is the atmosphere of the Earth different than the Earth's oceans then in terms of the density gradients?
Like I said, you have the colder. Maybe it could be because the sun is on top of the water and it's heating the water, and the water on top is warmer than the water on the bottom, and the cold water sinks.
So if I go ahead and I expose the atmosphere to that type of differentiation in temperatures, like let's say if I have a heat lamp at 120,000 feet, or let's say I have a super chiller, how cold would I have to get the surrounding air to be at a pressure in which it actually becomes breathable?
I didn't understand that at all.
I'm such
Cool.
trailer trash. I don't even have a brandy sniffer. I'm just right out of the brandy.
Okay, so
sorry,
try to
Landon, I'm
say
triggering.
this again. So you're saying that the only thing that's different between the two fluids is temperature, correct?
One is a gas, one is a liquid. They're not
No,
the
they're both
same. They're not
liquids.
exactly the same.
They're both fluids.
They're both fluids.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, you're trying to confuse me on things that I don't necessarily understand. Right.
I
but
thought you worked on this.
You're not proving
I thought you
that
worked
the
on it.
atmosphere of the Earth can exist, and you're trying to
Wonton, you
put
do.
me into this.
No,
You're trying to
Wonton,
steer the topic in a realm that you want to go because I don't exactly.
Well, we know you don't understand, but Wonton, you do.
Calm down, buddy.
You do. Wonton, hang on. Wonton,
with how the air pressure can possibly form.
Hang on.
You gotta
And
breathe,
you're gonna
dude.
claim
Wonton,
victory,
you're gonna have an
and then you're gonna
aneurysm.
claim victory over that.
Steve,
You're gonna
Steve.
have an aneurysm. You gotta breathe every so often, dude. We get what you're saying.
Steve.
Trust me, okay? But do you agree that the atmosphere and the liquid are both fluids? I mean, the gas and liquids are both fluids. They're not solids, right? They're fluid.
Right.
Steve.
Okay. Yes, sir.
All right, as the moderator, can I ask you
the
to call
moderator.
out Wonton on
We're
something?
not moderator. Actually, Nadja would probably.
This is a discussion.
We're just doing the fallacy kind of stuff.
We're trying to make sure that the fallacies don't go on.
Well. Here's the thing. Wonton came in here saying, "Oh, you do this. Oh, you do that. Oh, you do this. Oh, you do that." I have agreed to not do that. Not try to have a gotcha moment here. I'm just asking questions. Yet Wonton is saying that, "Oh, this is what you're always doing. You're
No,
trying to
you're
get
not
me
doing
to
anything
gotcha,
wrong.
and you're
We're-
trying to, parade on top of me."
You're not doing anything wrong. We
You're not-
explained it.
I'm not-
And by the way,
I'm
we
not
explained it
doing
to him.
that.
We explained
I'm
it to
not
him.
doing that. Wonton, here's the deal. I'm not doing that. But if you want me to do that, keep acting the way you're acting.
Yeah, he's not
Talking
doing that
about
Wonton. And by the
You're
way,
talking about water, and I'm talking about the air, and you want to try to divert the topic about the water, and I'm trying to talk about the air of the atmosphere of the Earth possibly being able to form, while it's being enveloped in
The fact that you don't understand the connection between the two different fluids does not mean that I'm segueing here.
Right.
That's an argument from ignorance.
No, just consider it analogous, okay?
Okay, but your proof of this atmosphere being able to form around the Earth is a 100% theory. That's all it is.
It is indeed a theory. It is indeed
It is
a
a theory.
theory.
Okay, thank
It's
you.
a
Theory that's supported by evidence.
One at a
By
time.
what? What evidence?
Okay,
Well, for
so-
example, for example, one of the experiments that we do is to build something like, for example, let's say a solid like dry ice that's sublimating, turning into a gas, and you put it inside an ultracentrifuge, which will create an accelerating force, just like gravity, and the result will be that you'll have the accelerated gas next to the dry ice, but in the center will be a fairly high vacuum. You can draw a very high vacuum, and that's a case on Earth where you can create an atmosphere of sublimating dry ice next to a fairly high, and the reason why it isn't able to move is because of the accelerating force, just like you have in gravity. And we see that with comets, right? Comets are sublimating out in space. We can look at them and see the atmosphere sublimating from them. We can look at planets that have gravity, and that accelerating force of gravity keeps the gas of that planet next to the planet itself.
Do you have a link to that study? I would like to look into that. It sounds interesting.
It's basic physics.
Go to use your telescope to look at Venus. Look at Jupiter.
No, you said that it was an experiment, and I would like to know the citation for this experiment that you're citing.
Okay.
All right. So moving on.
Well, I guess that's
the
enough.
reason why I brought up the oceans is because you had made an assertion. That assertion was that you cannot have a medium of high pressure next to a medium of low pressure.
No, I
I
never
gave
said
you
that.
an example of a medium of
I
high
never said that.
pressure.
Now
That's
it's a straw man.
exactly
Now
what
you're
I'm
straw
saying,
man.
of low
This is
pressure.
a straw man. This is a straw man.
Hey, yeah, okay, but let him
finish.
finish at least.
This is a straw man, though. This is literally a straw man. This is the
Okay, but you
definition
can
of a straw
say
man.
that when he's finished.
Okay, but this is a straw. I'm not going to let him continue off of a straw man. I'm not going to let
Well,
him
we haven't
continue.
just judged whether there's a straw man or not. So let us.
Okay,
judge.
that is a straw man.
Well, we
because I
don't
never
know
said
what
that.
you
I
haven't
never
let
said that one time.
Wonton.
I never said that one time.
Wonton, you haven't let him finish his.
Seriously.
You have not let him finish his sentence.
Okay, so don't continue off the straw man. that I
Wonton,
believe
shut
that they
up,
can
please, for a
exist.
second. Let him.
Can I ask a question?
Hang on, Michael.
No, I'm still
let
not
Reds
done.
finish his sentence before you rudely interrupt him, Wonton. Then we'll judge if it's a straw man. That's how we've been doing this. It's very fair. You can't bitch about that. So, Michael, we'll get back to you. I promise. Please finish your statement, Reds, and then Wonton, if you think it has a fallacy, we'll judge that. Okay.
Okay. So the reason so you made this claim that you can't have a medium or a gas or whatever the fuck you want to call it next to an area of lower pressure because they'll want to equalize, or as you said, next to a vacuum. Well, the trouble with that is that when you look at fluid dynamics, we see that not to be the case, and this has been demonstrated in reality. That's why I bring up the oceans. So if you're saying that you cannot have these drastically different pressures, I mean, we're talking about multiples of atmospheres here where we're dealing with the Earth's ocean alone. We're showing clear examples that we can have a medium or a fluid of higher pressure next to a fluid of lower pressure and yet not have the Earth cave in on itself from the contradiction. It just doesn't have to happen that way.
That's basically explained just by the weight of the water.
All right, what's the straw man that you're accusing of him, Wonton?
The weight of the water on, like if you're on the bottom of the ocean, obviously the weight of all of that water on top of you is pressing down on you. That's why you have that extreme amount of pressure pressing down on you. But if you're at the surface, if you're 1 foot underneath the surface of the water, there's been basically almost like very little pressure of water pushing you down, right? So that's just basically just the weight of the water alone pushing down on you. That's
cool.
Why it's a higher pressure.
Now, how is the atmosphere any different than that?
I mean, now you have different temperatures of the atmosphere. You have the temperature of the cold gas sinks down and the hotter gas rises. Everybody knows that heat rises.
So at what temperature would I have to make the water at the surface to make it the same?
I don't know. Listen, I'm not an oceanographer. I don't know. Listen, you know, you
a lot of stuff you don't know.
You know, you're not. You're just going to say gravity. You're going to say the magic word gravity, and then everybody's going to be like, "Oh, Rick, you said gravity." You know,
so basically, you're telling me some things are the case, and then when I ask you to clarify on it or expound on into it, you admit that you don't know. So
no, I don't. I'm not I'm not a person who studies fluid dynamics and water and how. I'm just guessing. I'm saying, I would imagine that the reason why you have such a high pressure on the bottom of the ocean is because you have how many miles, the bottom of the Mariana Trenches, of water
13.
Pressing down on your head. That's why it's high pressure.
So then that leads us to a completely different question then. My question is then, if you admitted just now that you were just guessing, what do you think would be more reasonable to an outside person? Believe the person that's just taking a guess, or believe the person that has a model that can make predictions that turn out accurate in reality?
That does happen on Earth. That's actually the reason why you have higher air pressure on the ground, on ground level, and then as you go up, there's less air pressure. It's the same exact thing. So it's actually, that is the reason. It's the weight of the molecules pushing down on you.
Okay, so you're saying that the weight does take into effect, so it does act exactly like the ocean, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then they're actually the same and not different. So if we have examples of high pressure water being next to lower pressure water by a factor of multiple atmospheres, then that would mean that lower pressure can exist next to a higher pressure. And
okay, now what's the length of this line that you're talking about? Like you're saying like something like 5 atmospheres of water next to a quarter of an atmosphere of water with no solid barrier in between. I would definitely say that that's impossible.
No. Listen. We can make this container as long as we want.
Okay,
right?
so there is a gradient. We all agree that there is a gradient, right?
While the ocean may be as deep as Mount Everest is tall, or actually a little bit deeper than that in some places, the atmosphere is far taller than that. And so it's actually very much the same when we're talking about the size, and that they're both kind of massive. So if they're both massive and they both are dealing with weights and they both have temperature variations and they both have fluid dynamics acting upon them in a predictable fashion, then why is it that you make the assertion that higher pressure cannot exist next to lower pressure, or dare I say a vacuum, when that's exactly what the math pans out to be in reality?
In where? What reality does a dressing, and it depends how much pressure is next to it. Like it's going to seep out, right? So if I have, let's say I have a tank of oxygen that's under pressure of 30 psi, and then I open the valve into another container that's under 29 pressure psi. So it's going to seep out very slowly because it's not that much of a difference, right? But if I put it in a tank that's 1 psi, it's going to shoot out like like a cannon, it's going to come out extremely fast, right? So because there's a differential is too high, right? So we all agree that there is a gradient, right? We know that there's a gradient, but I don't believe that it goes to absolute zero like you do. You believe that it goes to absolute zero. Space, the vacuum of space. I don't care how many few molecules there is. We're basically using the vacuum of space as a model for a perfect vacuum, because even in NASA's laboratory, NASA has the world's largest vacuum laboratory on Earth. Even they can't get anywhere near as much of a perfect vacuum as the vacuum of space is, right? So even with the most expensive, largest vacuum on Earth, we can't come close to what the vacuum of space is. Therefore, the vacuum of space might as well just be zero, because there's essentially no difference. It might as well just be zero. So how does the atmosphere on Earth form? That's what I'm asking.
Okay, well, I've already answered that question, but I'll answer it
which is a theory, which is just complete, just 100%
equivocation fallacy.
Confirmation bias nonsense.
Equivocation fallacy. Stop with the fallacies. It's a fallacy.
Well, he's doing a fallacy.
No, you just did a fallacy.
Yes.
Yeah, Wonton, that what you just committed was an equivocation fallacy.
Yes.
Like what?
Also, check the chat. Landon's got your citations.
What is this equivocation fallacy you're talking about?
The word theory. You're equivocating the word theory about what we're using it.
No, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
No. We've explained to you. A theory is a confirmed model, which means that it is confirmed to our best of our knowledge. If you have a way to disconfirm,
okay, so how is it confirmed?
Let me finish. If you have a way to disconfirm it, that's great. But you have the onus. We don't have to explain to you anything about theory. But the theory is something that is confirmed by experiment and by repeated verification and by predictability.
Okay, how about this? Let's. I'm gonna grant you, even though I don't believe it. I'm gonna grant you that your theory on. I'm gonna grant you that your theory on how the atmosphere of the Earth was proven. Somehow, you guys came up with an experiment to prove that the atmosphere could have formed that way. That doesn't mean
we don't use that word "prove." I don't think any of us use that word "prove."
No,
right, but I'm just saying. Let's say you guys came up with some kind of experiment to, come up with the best possible theory of how the atmosphere of the Earth can possibly form in a vacuum. That doesn't mean that happened. It could have happened that an invisible fucking unicorn came out from.
So believe that we're going by the best possible explanation.
Shit it out through the Earth, right?
No, that's.
So it doesn't mean
if you want to believe that, go for it.
It doesn't mean shit.
Listen. The fact is that you are actually absolutely right. It could be the case that we were all created 5 minutes ago with all of our memories intact. It is the case that it's possible that a unicorn came out and shat the entire world as it is, and there you go. But the thing is that we are driving at a model that is the best model to compared to everything else. What is the best model we have? The best model we have is one that can make predictions and the one that has been shown to comport with reality. What you're doing is you are confusing the map with the place. We know that individual perception of reality is not the same as reality. All maps are secondary. Our goal is to construct the most accurate map of reality as possible. That is not fallacious. That's us getting as close to the truth as we can, but it's a lot like absolute zero. You can get close to absolute zero, but you're never going to get on absolute zero.
All right, let me ask 2 questions real quick. First question. If you wanted to actually do something to launch a rocket, okay, you don't have to put it in space, but just launch a rocket to go hit another country. I think Wonton would agree that's even physically possible, right? Would you use formulas based upon what we're telling him for physics, or would you use that a unicorn shot it off his ass and shot the missile over to China?
No, I'm not. Hang on. Shot off his ass as that's how it happened. I'm just saying,
But it's possible, right? It's possible we can use that, right? Because you're suggesting it's a valid thing. So if it's a valid thing, even though it might be possible, for us to use it practically, Reds, what is more efficient? Having modeling by formulas and physics that we know works, or by modeling out of a unicorn shitting it out of his ass? What do you think would be more effective?
All I'm going to say is that you can't pray this shit into space.
Okay, so there you go, Wonton. There's a reason why these things are...
This is literally a false analogy, because you're using the unicorn being shitted out, shitting the Earth out, and then you're using...
You brought it up. No, we did it. That's your hypothesis, not ours.
No, but I'm going to point out your false analogy.
Oh.
So we know that rockets work, right? We don't know that the atmosphere possibly could have formed.
No, you don't know that. We all know that in here.
No, you don't know that.
Oh,
You
we
don't
do.
know that.
No,
Listen,
we do.
listen,
We really
but
do.
Could you agree with me that you don't know that for as certain as for
We're not talking about certainty.
rockets
No,
work?
you confuse
Oh
these
no,
terms.
we're not working with certainty.
You
now.
can
See,
tur-
you're escaping.
No,
You're
no,
escaping.
Wonton.
You're escaping.
You have to use these terms in a way that
You're
we all
escaping.
understand it because we are educated. When
You're
you say
escaping.
knowledge does not require certainty in any theory of knowledge out there. Not one. Go look.
No, but all I'm asking, all I'm saying,
Dude, don't try to change
see,
this.
you don't want me to break it down.
Knowledge and certainty are vastly different things. Okay, so when we say we know, we do not have to have certainty. Do you agree?
You wait. Say that you know you don't have to have
Just say
certainty?
just say that
Okay,
I know
well,
a
then you have to
proposition
define
is true.
certainty.
Just say that I know a proposition is true under any theory of knowledge out there. You can pick one: correspondence theory. You can go to pragmatic theory of truth. You can go to a coherentist theory of truth. Go pick a theory of truth. Go find one. Not a single one requires certainty. Not one. So, do you agree that we can know things, but we don't have to be certain on that?
Well, I guess
your
you
goal.
can use very arbitrary definitions of the word.
These are
know
not,
and the word
well,
certainty.
now you use the word arbitrary. First of all definitions to some degree have a sense of arbitrariness because they have no intrinsic meaning. But this is what knowledge means in epistemology. That's what it is. Knowledge doesn't require certainty. It's just a factor of what we believe with a high degree of confidence, right, and some other conditions.
Hey, Steve.
Okay, how about this? Let me set up a scenario. So if someone put a gun to your head and say that you have to choose between A or B. A is either if you guess wrong, I'm going to shoot you. So if you have to guess A is that rockets work. B is that the atmosphere of the Earth could have possibly formed while it is enveloped in a perfect vacuum. Which one are you going to bet on and say
They're
that
both
that
true.
is one that is
They're both true.
They're both true.
Okay, so you're equally as certain.
They're both correct.
You are just listen to how brainwashed people are. You are just as certain.
What?
Listen. No,
That's
don't
also
speak.
fallacy.
Don't speak. Let me speak.
That's
Let me
another
speak.
fallacy.
Let me speak.
Don't speak.
Let me speak.
Let him,
Let me speak.
guys, one at a time.
Let me speak. Listen to how brainwashed you are. You are just as certain that something that you can see, something that you can go to Florida and to the NASA fucking launch center, you can see with your own eyes. You could see a rocket go up and be shot up into however fucking high, how high it goes, whatever. That's debatable. You could see a rocket work. We know for a fact, a demonstrable, empirical, 100% certainty that rockets, things that are built out of metal and computer components and whatever the fuck, rocket engines, they work. We know that they work. You're saying that you are just as certain of that as something that happened
How do you know that?
4.5 billion years ago.
How do you know that? How do you know that? How do you know you're not? How do you know your brain in the vat?
Let me give Bruce a point. You were saying you're just as certain as something that we see and feel and touch. You can see rockets launch, and then you're just as certain of that as you are as something that happened 4.5 billion years ago, which nobody has any fucking clue whatsoever how it could have.
Yeah, go ahead, Reds. I got one more question to ask. I haven't asked my sense. I had two questions.
Completely and utterly.
So you're committing fallacies, by the way. So
completely and utterly brainwashed.
So let me go ahead and answer the question. I'm going to give you my answer, then I'm going to explain the answer to you. The answer is yes. I am just as I'm just as sure about both of them.
Okay.
The reason is because I know that the laws of physics that were taken into account to make that rocket work are the same exact laws of physics that we use to describe to you how an atmosphere can form next
but
to
you
a
also
vacuum.
have direct firsthand experience of seeing
Doesn't matter.
rockets work, and you don't know that those
have you ever been to Australia?
One time, we can look at the atmosphere of Venus. We can see it in a telescope. We can see the vacuum. We can measure the vacuum outside of Venus. We can see the gas pressures. We've landed probes on the surface of Venus. We know the high pressure that's on the surface, and we know the low pressure outside of Venus' atmosphere. And we can see that. You can look at a telescope. You can see the atmosphere of Venus. And when you watch it go on a transit, you can see it in front of the sun. You can see the light coming through the atmosphere.
Yeah, you can definitely see it.
And I personally have seen it. I've seen Earth's atmosphere twice on the two transits.
All right, second question, because this is important. Wonton, you talked about weight. How do you mean weight as opposed to like mass? What do you mean by that?
Weight as opposed to mass.
Yeah, when you say weight.
the weight of the water.
What is that? Okay, well, I don't know what weight means.
Of the water.
Suppose I don't.
Even you guys have a very vague definition.
No, I don't. I know exactly what weight is. I want to know what you mean.
And what is, what exactly gravity is. Neil deGrasse Tyson doesn't even know what the hell gravity is.
Okay, well, I think he does. He's an astrophysicist. I know gravity is.
No, he doesn't. He's on record saying that he has no idea what gravity is.
I'm actually, I have had conversations with Tyson about gravity specifically.
Yeah, and he's also, I mean,
I have direct evidence that he knows.
You're talking to Landon Kurt Knoll, who has talked to Richard Feynman, has talked to Stephen Hawking, has talked to these people. Hang on. I've asked you a question. You haven't answered it yet. We all know what we mean by weight. Could you give us a definition by what you mean by weight that we can work with?
Say that again. The last part.
Can you give us a stipulated definition of what you mean by weight that we can all work with? Because we all know what weight is in here. We don't know what you mean by weight. Because if you don't think gravity exists, your version of weight is something completely different from what we are using it. Because we're using it as if you have a function of a force as mass times acceleration. If you're talking about the acceleration of gravity, all you do is switch G for A, and you end up with weight equals mass times the acceleration of gravity. So weight equals mass times G. So if you don't have gravity, you can't have weight. As we all understand, first day physics, what do you mean by weight? Why is that a funny question? I don't get it. You're using these terms, and I'm just asking you for your stipulated definition, so I understand how you're using it as opposed to how we're using it.
You're being very pedantic about the details.
That you don't know what the word pedantic means.
No,
because I'm not being pedantic.
About the details. Yes, you are.
I'm asking you how are you using a word. I'm literally asking you how you're using a word. How is that being a pendant?
Weights. The weights. They're just the weight.
The weight equals
the weight is the weight. Okay. So it's a tautology. Weight's the weight. Okay.
So why is the weight of something on the moon different than the weight on Earth?
The amount that look at this. Even the definition. The definition is a logical fallacy. Is complete fallacious because you're not supposed to use the word in the definition of the word. But when you look up the definition,
which is why we were telling you it's just a tautology.
When you look up the definition of the word weight, it has the word weigh in it. So
Steve.
Even according to the dictionary, it doesn't even know what the fuck the word weight
I know what weight means. I just described it to you. Weight is the product of
the quantity or thing of weighing.
Wait, hang on.
The amount that a thing weighs. That doesn't define weight.
The definition.
I'm on Western Dictionary right now.
The definition of weight is the product of mass times the acceleration of gravity. That's what it is.
Oh, gravity.
Right, but you don't accept gravity. So what is your
it's mass times acceleration, right? And
acceleration of gravity is gravitational acceleration.
Well, you can also have weight in centrifuge as well.
Okay, fine, right, sure. But I'm using weight on the influence of gravity, so gravitational force. So how is he describing weight then? Give us a formula for weight then. How do you?
Now I need a formula for weight. And then if I don't have a formula for weight, that means that gravity is real.
No.
What you're saying, dude.
Again, we're not saying. Let's assume gravity's not a real thing. Let's say.
Okay, so stop being pedantic about the details. You know I don't know the formula for weight. You know I don't know that.
Okay, stop using words you don't know. It's annoying. It really is.
Don't try to say my argument is
okay. So let's just clarify. Let's just clarify.
No, your argument's just incomplete.
You do not have a working formula for weight as we do. Will you agree with that?
I'm pretty sure your formula for weight I would agree with.
Okay, fair enough. Move on. So, Reds or Landon, go ahead.
Thank
you.
So
how does the atmosphere of Venus?
Sorry, I know Landon's like you guys are jumping over. Who wants to go, Landon or
I mean, it's just funny when you look up the definition of a word, it's not supposed to use the word that you're trying to define.
One time, I hate closing definitions.
When you look up the word, the definition of the word weight, the first one, which is the most prevalent definition.
Okay, fuck definition.
Fuck the amount that a thing weighs.
I looked it up. That's not what the first definition is.
Wonton, listen to me very carefully. You're talking to somebody in the room who's advocated to people for years now, don't fucking use colloquial definitions. And you're using a colloquial definition.
Using Webster, Merriam
That's a colloquial definition. That's a descriptive definition. That's not a prescriptive definition.
A dictionary talks about the common usage.
Yes.
It's colloquial. It's not.
Okay.
So we don't give a shit what the dictionary says. I'm telling you what the word means in physics. Okay? So
are we good?
Yeah, Red's been trying to get in here, Landon. So hang on, Red's, go ahead, please, and then.
Okay, so let me go ahead and have a batch of a kindergarten philosophy questionnaire, if you will. Wonton, when you are trying to figure something out, is your drive to be certain in the ultimate sense, or is your drive to be certain in the maximal sense, or as close as you can get? What are you driving for?
What's the distinction between ultimate and maximal? Like ultimate, like absolute true?
Ultimate is 100%. There is nothing left other than 100%. There's no possibility for you to be wrong.
I think
on anything, including about shit that you would have to presuppose, like, you know, that you're not in an asylum, imagining a world around you with made up laws of physics and stuff like that. Your goal is to be maximally certain, or is your goal, or ultimate certain? Is your goal to be maximal certain, which is may or may not be totally certain, or is your goal ultimate certainty?
I've already discussed this with Steve on a previous last time I was on the show. I think it was an after talk or whatever. The only thing that I believe in with 100% certainty is the fact that I exist. Everything after that is basically just, you know, whatever, 98, 99% certain.
Okay, so in this world, other than the idea of I think therefore I am, you can't be 100% certain on anything, right?
Not as close as the fact that you know that you exist.
Okay, not as close. So basically not 100%. Is that fair?
Sure.
Okay. So if that is fair, then would it not also be fair to believe in a model that can make predictions, even if there's some parts of it that we're still looking into and don't know fully?
Well, if there's those parts that you don't know fully, and if it's not, you can't even come close to what it's, you know, to the fact that you exist, or even remotely close. It's not even close to 99% certain that the Earth is round. It's forget it how uncertain it is. Then I just simply do not believe you. And then again, I'm gonna have to go back to Occam's razor, which says that a principle from philosophy suppose that there exist two explanations for an occurrence. In this case, the simpler one is usually better. Another way of saying it is the more assumptions you have to make, the more unlikely an explanation. And I find it funny that you guys like to say that I use Occam's razor in the wrong context, Let me explain. And then I don't know the exact definition. I use it in the wrong context, but it's kind of funny how Robinson Jennings was on the show and he used Occam's razor in the exact same context.
Do you realize?
Let me explain. Let me just finish the sentence. He used it in the exact same context that I used it in when he explained how the sun appears to be, you know, moving over your head and that you think you're spinning, but he says, no, Occam's razor says that if you're looking up at the sun is moving and that you're not moving. That is Occam's razor. That is the absolute definition of Occam's razor.
Okay, two things. One, did you notice I corrected him? Okay, and two, he's not a real PhD. He has no education in this. He's not a real doctor, dude. He knows jack shit about physics.
Okay, that's basically just ad hominem
philosophy.
Right
no, that's not ad hominem. Landon, is that ad hominem?
No,
I explained that he doesn't have an education in PhD. That's
he could be a homeless person on the street. It doesn't matter.
But you're appealing to him as an authority. He's not an authority.
I'm not appealing to him as an authority.
Okay, then why are you mentioning him? He's wrong. He's just as wrong as you.
Stop.
I'm not appealing to him.
I've had to educate a few people on this, so let me just get this out because this one's actually a really peeve of mine. Okay, what Steve just said is not a fallacy. What you just did was an argument from authority in the fallacious sense. So you used the fallacious version of that. Him pointing that out is not a fallacy.
It's exactly true.
I didn't. No, listen. I'm not. Listen. What I'm saying is he used it in the exact same context.
But he's wrong.
That
So
I
what?
used it.
And he was just as wrong as you are.
Who cares if he uses it? He's
no, but you didn't even say that he was wrong. You didn't even say that. You didn't even say it.
He is wrong. Okay. We've explained to you what it means. You don't care.
So you think he's wrong, and I think you're wrong. How about that?
But we can go look it up. You can look at the law.
I can look it up too. Well, I have it right here. The definition right here.
Yeah, the law.
How are you getting this wrong if you have the definition in front of you? How about this? How about you read it to us?
Definition. Let me guess. That's the colloquial definition. That's not the real.
Well, yeah, it's called the law. The Occam's razor is actually called the law of parsimony. That's the actual name of it. Okay, and I guarantee it. Until you met us, you have never heard the term parsimony before in your life. I guarantee it.
I have.
No, you have not. You lie, dude. You do not. What does parsimony mean?
Something to do with simplicity.
Parsimonious means that something is in harmony with each other.
Parsimonious. That's what I heard.
Yeah,
parsimonious.
But the law of parsimony is based upon parsimony. It is fact that if you have two competing hypotheses that have equal explanatory and predictive ability, key phrase there, then you choose the one with the less assumptions.
Right.
But if
So let's go with that. Let's go with that.
Stop interrupting me. If they do not have equal explanatory and predictive powers, then you take the hypothesis that actually works, even though it uses more assumptions. So the amount of assumptions only matter if they're equal explanatory and equal predictive. And you can find, if you find me a scientist that disagrees with that, bring his ass on. I will get him on the Non Sequitur Show the next day.
And since the flat Earth theory or anything flat earthers have been saying have no explanatory power, you're using Occam's razor wrong.
Right.
How does me looking up at the sun and the sun obviously moving and me not experiencing the Earth moving ever not have predictive power?
Well, what can you predict from it?
Well, you could laugh and just make a ridiculous claim that didn't.
What can you predict from it? If they're going to be equally predictive power, what can you predict from the flat Earth theory?
That the Earth is moving, that the sun is moving over your head because you can see it move, or you could physically see it move.
All right, let's test that. What else would we expect to see if the sun was moving and we are not?
The stars moving.
Okay. Do they move the same?
No.
Okay. Well, we're going to need a way to explain that too.
Gonna say, yeah, if it was only the sun moving, wouldn't this? Why are the stars also moving?
Mm-hmm.
Because the stars and the heavenly bodies rotate around our heads every day.
Well, that might be an explanation, but it has no predictive power other than the fact that they move.
No, it does have predictive power because obviously in the globe Earth model you can't. There's no way that you could see the same exact stars every single day all year round because you're on the other side of the freaking solar system. So there's no way.
Wait, you don't see the same exact stars all year round. I'm out almost every night looking at them. I know they change.
And Red Eye, so one time, a couple of things. Red Eye, I'm talking to her there, is in Australia, and he sees a bunch of different stars I can't see. Second thing is those stars moving that you say moving around the sky. We can look at the frequency coming from those stars, and they're not moving at high velocity. We know distances to those stars, and they're not moving at enormous velocities around the Earth. We don't see their Doppler shifts as a result of their motion.
Actually don't know the distance of the stars.
We do.
Actually, we do.
One time, you're actually talking to somebody who has done the actual experiments.
Okay, but
I have measured the distance to the sun. I've measured the distance to nearby planets. I've made distance to nearby stars. I've actually done the work.
You can say that, but the nearest star that is located to us, the estimated difference of that star is 1.6 light years, which is however many trillions of miles.
The nearest sun's a star. The nearest star's the sun, dude.
Not the nearest star besides the sun. You know what I'm talking about. Stop joking. The nearest star besides the sun, the difference of the estimated difference is 1.6 light years. That is like hundreds of trillions of miles. So you actually don't
actually there's several things you've said that are wrong. First of all, we know the distance to we know the parallax to a high precision. We know, for example, the radial velocity to a high precision. We know the distance to a high precision. And by the way, it's not hundreds of trillions of miles. You're talking about the star, the next star beyond the sun. We've actually measured those.
Right, but the estimated difference, the estimated distance of that star, there's a difference. I think they said it's 4.6 between 6.6 or 6 point whatever light years away, and that difference is hundreds of trillions of miles.
No. First of all, it's not hundreds of trillion miles. That's not how big a light year is.
It's not a difference of not even 1 light year.
No, it's. I mean, the distance is 4.37 light years.
4.3 is even more.
4.37 light years is the distance, and I can give you the precision of that we know now because we have it is 754.81 millarc seconds divided by the error of 4.11. So we know that distance to better than 1 part in 183. So if you say what's the error, 4.37 light years. Divided by that means that we know it's 4.37 light years plus or minus 0.02 light years. 4.37 light years plus or minus 0.02 light years. I'm looking at my calculations that are done with experiment on Alpha Centauri.
Also,
the
and I've done the actual experiment. I mean, it's I've done the math. I've done the observation.
The accepted math shows that we know it with an accuracy of 0.5%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what his argument at this point is.
1 part on 183, right? So,
Yes.
and a light year is not hundreds of trillions of miles. A light year is 10 trillion kilometers. So it's that the distance is roughly 43 trillion 700 billion kilometers, plus or minus about 235 million kilometers.
So you're saying essentially that you have measured this with the same level of precision accepted in standard industrial engineering.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. Also, you said that we see the same stars all year round at the night. Excuse me, I've been going out almost every night in the summer, and I haven't seen Orion until fall. And it will
you
be
don't see
prominent
that to
in
the
sky in
winter.
winter.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't see it to the winter night, either. Orion.
I have never seen Alpha Centauri from my latitude. I've never seen the Southern Cross from my latitude. On the other hand, Red Eye has in Australia has never seen Polaris from his latitude.
It's lovely. He's not the only one. I didn't know you were Aussie too, by the way.
I'm not, but Red Eye is
Red Eye.
Yeah.
So basically, the assumption that we don't have a level of precision is, or as infinitesimally close to zero. I mean, if that's a problem, let me ask: what level of precision do you actually want us to have before you will accept the answer, Wonton?
How do you know these distances to the stars? They could be, like 20 times as far, but just 20 times bigger. They could be
because we have methodology
No, they
10
can't.
times smaller and 10 times further away.
No, they can't.
Because we have methodology that has been shown to work.
Right.
Just ask the planetary scientist / astronomer, Landon. He can give you the answer.
That's exactly what I asked.
Or better yet, here's one. I know of a person by the name of Astronomy Live, and I went out with him on many stargazing nights, and we've done other stuff that I won't mention because they're kind of naughty. But the idea is simple. He made a video going into explicit detail about how he was able to astrometrically solve objects, to even plot their orbit, finding out their distance away from the Earth, and everything on a spreadsheet being able to digest. He was able to show this and show the methodology. This is the same type of methodology, and this is the exact same type of mathematics that we use to find out the distance to the sun, to find the distance to nearby stars, and so on. And it's also the same type of methodology that you can verify yourself down here on Earth if you were to scale it down. The scaling is different, but the math is exactly the same.
Yeah.
So if everything has been shown to work, why are you rejecting it?
Yeah. Plus Wonton, I put the link in the chat. We've measured. I participate in the measurement of the distance of the sun to better than 1 part in 42,224.
I use parallax to figure out the altitude of the International Space Station using a transit of the moon, and I got to within an accuracy of 0.7%.
And the solar parallax that I measured was better than 1 part in 48,856.
And I think Reds did that live too.
I did not do it live. However,
you did have one that you did live. I remember.
No, I did not do it live. But what I did is I said, if any flat earther wish to come out and do the observation with me, we would do it live to prove that it wasn't CGI, because that was the first claim they made.
Yeah. So anyway, so I've done the measurements. We have that kind of precision.
Yeah, I mean, one time we at least acknowledge the fact that you're in a room here with somewhat educated people, and then you have genius like Landon. But all of us have a pretty decent understanding of this stuff.
And I'm not parroting the stuff. I did the measurements myself.
Yeah, and so in Wonton, you have
right. I asked you a methodology, and you just say that you measured, but you're not saying like there's no.
I even put. I told you. I told you I put the link into the chat.
I have all three of them up here. I'm definitely gonna look at all of them.
Okay, so you look them up. So Wonton.
Do you want a methodology?
Do you
right,
not think?
Reds have a red rhetoric.
I'm saying that you can't tell the difference if the sun was 20 times closer, but just
why
20
do you think that? That's just ridiculous.
Listen. I had to describe this to Jeranism. we do not use how the sun looks to measure the distance from us to the sun.
Your type of thinking is why the Dark Ages lasted so long. I swear to Christ.
And also, hang on.
What was it? What was it? I think I don't know if it was you, Reds Reddit, but it was somebody on YouTube who tried to measure the distance to the moon, and then with angular size, with that tool that
that's not how we do it.
That's not how they do it.
Let me give
right,
you
that's how you did it. That's how you did it. Okay, that's
no,
how you,
that's
you
not. That's actually. Hang on. We're talking about
one of you people did it to try to measure.
If we're talking about straw manning people, why don't you actually ask me what I actually
straw manning? I'm asking.
Before you assume what I did.
Straw man.
I'm asking. I said I didn't know if it was you. I'm not straw manning.
All right, Wonton,
stop dying to be straw
Reds,
man.
was it you?
Dying to be straw man just so you have some kind of edge in this argument. I'm not straw manning you. I'm saying
Reds,
I think it was you.
Yes, was it you? Wait for him to bleed out.
You got to take a breath, dude. You say the same things 10,000 times.
Well, I'm not gonna allow you to think I'm straw manning you.
Well, we're gonna ask him. We're gonna ask you. So shut the fuck up for a second, Reds. What is it he's accusing you of straw manning?
Okay, so basically the idea is this, is that we do not use angular size, we use parallax. So for example, it doesn't matter if the International Space Station was the size of a car, a size of a bus, a size of a football field, or the size of the Raymond James Stadium. The only thing that matters is the parallax difference that that object made between two observation points. That parallax would be the exact same regardless of the size of the object.
Right.
So angular size is irrelevant.
Correct.
And that's not only that. Let me give you an example one time, because again, there are things that happens that all validate these kinds of things. Now, Landon, you're the expert, so as I go through this, please help me along. If we notice something like an X-class flare from the sun, and the sun is about 7.5 minutes away, give or take, so we know the speed of light. You would agree, Wonton, the speed of light exists. See, that's about time in a space which is close to a vacuum. That how long it takes from light to get from the sun to the Earth would it be about 7.5 minutes? Okay,
maybe.
Okay, let's for arguendo. Let's just take that. Okay, arguendo. So it's 7.5 minutes. Now we observe it. Now we can actually predict, because we know that the particles travel slower, when that is going to actually hit us. When the coronal mass ejection is going to actually hit if it's targeted to us, because we know when it can actually do damage to things like power lines and transformers. So 2 or 3 days later, we can say, hey, we might have problems with our transformers. We might see aurora borealis, right? We can detect or predict that it takes several days for those charged particles to reach us. So we know the speed of the charged particles, we know the speed of light, we know how far away the sun is. All these things add up because we can make predictions from it. Now, if those numbers didn't work, if the sun was any closer, any further away, none of those predictions would work. None of them. So how do you explain that?
Are you using your pre-existing notion of the speed of light to measure the distance of these objects?
So you think speed of light changes?
I believe in the 1920s, it was changing around observatories around the world, and that was like the biggest blunder.
What?
So can you give a citation for when it was?
Wait. Was it changed? Did it change by itself?
I mean, because I understand.
I'm thrilled to death. This is like
the 1920s. That's actually post general relativity.
Post special and general. General special relativity was like 1904, and general was about 10 years later, 15 years later, something like that. 1915, give or take.
1915.
Okay. I'm again pulling it out my ass. I'm not googling.
1915, 1916. So you're saying in the 1920s they were measuring there, but I've never seen a citation for.
Yeah, this is fascinating. So you're claiming that the speed of light.
No, I've given you a citation for one example. By the way, there's also citations about centrifuge stuff on measuring we actually made the distance sun, and it agrees with, for example, the experiments that Steve talks about of coronal mass ejections, right?
By the way, look at complaints department. That look is basically how we all look right now. That is basically the epic.
I think I found the crux of your argument is basically the speed of light. So if we can definitively prove that the speed of light is not a constant, then I think your entire theory
not necessarily, but that's a different story. But
I can just see how triggered you all got just about.
No. I'm fascinated. Yeah, this is great.
So it's basically your entire universe revolves around the speed of light.
No, I think no, that's not true. So I'm curious. I guess please stop interrupting me. I've tried to ask a question and you still keep saying shit. Stop it. It's annoying. So you're saying that speed of light somehow changed in the 1920s. First, did it change by any? Was it prescriptively changed? Did we will it to change, or did it arbitrarily change? And by what percentage did it change? From what speed to what speed? Because right now it's actually defined. Speed of light is actually literally defined to be a certain number. By definition, that's what the speed of light is. As of like I think 2014, I don't know, standards in the measurements and all that kind of stuff, but it's defined to actually exist.
I think he's looking it up, so we're waiting for.
So while he does that, I've got a quick question.
Go for it, Michael.
Talking about the 1920s, wasn't the speed of light first measured in like the late 1600s?
Oh, they've had an estimate, a guesstimate of it.
There were different ways about measuring it.
But wasn't that determination based largely on the movement of the Earth?
Kind of depends on what you're going on.
Yeah, some of the other ones they use a carousel. They actually use a
for example, they use a rotating octagon and had a light beam that was bouncing off of there around mirrors over a valley. Right?
I'll have to look it up, but I think wasn't it based on eclipses with Jupiter? Or?
Well, they've
done that too.
Actually,
that's a longer time ago.
as well. In fact, that was one of the things that
Romer.
It actually pissed off Newton because agreement.
Right.
And Newton didn't like that one of his students basically proving him that he made a mistake in his calculations.
Yeah, and another thing they brought up
triggered.
Yeah, another thing was the oscillation of, I think it was Mercury. Mercury had some problems too. Relativity solved that as well. But anyway, so
even if we did have to change the speed of light, doesn't that point toward the self-correct? But the point to the self-correction of science.
Well, we don't change.
Let me reiterate this point. So let me reiterate: you're not actually measuring the distance of these stars. What you're doing is you're using the speed of light to assume the distance of the stars based on the speed of light.
Completely wrong.
Not the Alpha Centauri.
I'm asking. I'm not saying that's what you do.
Alpha Centauri is a direct physical measurement. So we take pictures of Alpha Centauri. At 6 months apart, see the parallax shift. We know that we've measured the distance of the sun through other methods. I can go into detail, but it becomes a direct measurement. Right?
And we actually
Alpha Centauri is directly measured.
And by the way, angular size in the parallax.
Angular size has nothing to do with it. It's a point.
No,
you
do not need
size. No. Why would you have angular size? No, because you're dealing with a point of light. Why would it have angular size to it? It's a point of fucking light.
As I previously said, I kind of want to make 2 points here that are very important. I previously said that the angular size of the International Space Station was irrelevant to my calculations. And if you can point, where in my video I actually reference the angular size of the ISS, I'll go ahead and give you $1 million. The second thing is that we know the speed of light to such precision that femtophotography is a thing. Where you can actually see a wave of light illuminate an apple, and then only after the apple is illuminated a few seconds later into the video, you can then see the shadow of the apple on the wall behind it.
And
this is how well we know the speed of light.
Femtoseconds.
Citation needed.
And
it's a very popular video.
Great video.
Citation needed. And you can talk out of your ass all you want. Citation needed.
No.
I don't know citation.
But Wonton, where is your citation in the 1920s?
When you talk out of your ass, you don't need citation.
I'm not going to stop talking until I get this out.
That's very funny.
So when it comes time to it, I am going to give you the citation right here, right now. All you have to do, Wonton, is go to YouTube and type in TED.
No, you do it.
No,
hang
on.
You give it
hang on.
You have the claim. You have the claim to provide the evidence. I'm not.
Okay, Wonton, stop fucking interrupting. We cannot screen share in Zoom like this. I mean, we could, I guess, but he'll give you the link for it. You ask for the citation, so shut the fuck up. Let him get the citation. I've watched it. Everybody else has watched it. We know it exists. It's not, pulling out his ass.
Exactly. Now here's the thing. I'm gonna do this in one of two ways because one, we're in Zoom and I can't screen share here, and two, I'll go ahead and tell you how you can find it, and then I'm going to do the work for you and post the link in the side. So let's go ahead and tack this one at a time. The first thing for everyone watching in chat and you yourself is if you go to the top search bar on YouTube, type in TEDx and then type in filming at the speed of light or a trillion frames per second, you will see a talk by somebody at MIT. And they go into detail on how the femto camera works. The examples that they will show you from this femto camera include a packet of photons passing through a bottle of water or a Coke bottle filled with water, an illumination of I believe it's an apple or a tomato. Right there.
Tomato.
Actually, Steve has it right there.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And there's also a Coke bottle one too. The Coke bottle one's better, I think. But
the Coke bottle one is better. But you see in this particular shot, that is actually a wave of light. And that wave of light is illuminating one side of the tomato. As the wave of light continues, it then starts to illuminate the wall behind it. And when they were doing this, the way it works is that they fire a packet of photons. They then take a picture at a certain moment in time. And then afterwards, they take another picture a certain moment of time. The way they know how to time these images and using the gigabytes of data to make this movie is because they know the speed of light to the T. They know exactly what it is.
Yep.
So to say we do not know the speed of light would lead us to believe that this type of photography would actually be impossible.
This would never happen if we didn't know how to time it.
Possible. There you go.
That is one quantum packet of light.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Moreover, the spacecraft that we operate, for example, I'm working with the New Horizons spacecraft, is sending back signals at the speed of light. We know from its motion of how far it is, and we can also time and verify that by the time it takes for it to respond to a signal.
Okay, so we've given him a citation. We've actually shown him in that how it works. Could not work if the speed of light didn't be what we know it to be. So where is your citation now that the speed of light has changed in the 20s? Wonton?
Speed of light may not be a constant, physicists say. Einstein's theory of special
Not what I'm
relativity.
asking you. Not what I'm asking you.
Okay. I'll
Give the citation.
Give the citation for where it had actually changed, and not that we've just learned more about it, because the speed of light it's not going to change depending on what we want it to be. It's a constant of the universe. It's a fundamental natural constant, like Planck's
like the constant of gravity, like the big G constant.
And also,
constants do not.
To be thorough here,
they're not prescriptive.
Constants do not change.
Here. Hang on one time, just to be thorough here. I went ahead and posted the reference that you were asking for in the side chat. We've explained it to you. We've shown it to you. Now, will you agree that we have our shit together when it comes to the speed of light?
Okay, I was just about to present the citation, and then I was going to go into, like, I was asking you guys that the constant of gravity, big G, which you say is also a constant, and then you were just about to say that a constant does not change, but I have an
answer my question first. Is that possible?
I have a citation.
All right, we're not talking about the constant G.
Changing, big G, constant changing every single time.
Will you agree?
If they measure it, it changes.
Okay, measurements are not changing the constant. Measurements are changing what we know about the constant.
A simple yes or no to this question is all I need. Okay, would you agree that we have our shit together when it comes to the speed of light?
I'll look into this link. I have to listen to it. I have to read it. If you want to wait for me to watch the video and listen to what they say and for me to analyze it. I can't just.
It won't matter. I will tell you right now. Wonton will never bother with this. He'll never come back and admit that.
Okay.
I love this.
Plate supply. Go ahead.
Okay. Would you?
Hang on.
You've seen the fact that they have video. You can skim through it right now and show that the footage actually exists. So what more is there to study?
I need to listen to what they're saying. I need to see what they're doing. I just have the clip up.
One time, we've disproved you. Just suck it up, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way this could be wrong.
In college, I made 20 different measurements on the speed of light. It's one of my favorite things to do.
We know this.
And it nailed it again and again and again and again. And looked for different things. Plus, we have all these spacecraft and other things we can do to measure the speed of light. So it's been reconfirmed over and over and over again. And your GPS wouldn't work if we didn't know the speed of light.
None of this would work. Okay, so complaints department, you got your hand up. Please go.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, I posted a link in the group chat, but if the speed of light wasn't a constant in a vacuum, the theory of relativity, neither of them actually hold up at all.
Nothing holds up. The problem what happens is you have a relationship between natural units, okay? Planck's length, Planck's time. All these things we consider to be natural constants of the universe. They're all contingent upon certain things, one of which is the fine structure constant. And so when you start messing with the value of C, you start messing with the fine structure constant. And so even things like I've mentioned it before, the electric and magnetic permittivity and permissivity get screwed up, okay? So if the speed of light had changed, atoms would not exist the way we know that. It would not be possible. You couldn't overcome the Coulomb barrier. And rags would be very noisy if the speed of light had changed.
You see, that's the thing. I go into these discussions and I try to learn as much as I can about shit I've never heard of.
This is honestly, is this really new to you? I'm curious. I love
a lot of it. A lot of
That's
it
awesome.
is. Some of it I'm familiar with, but a lot of it I haven't heard before.
Nice.
I'm in the same boat actually. That's why
we expect that with you, Naja.
No.
So you know, if you change the speed of light, then frequencies from emissions from hydrogen being excited or neon or those things would all change. Chemicals would change their boiling points, freezing points. Certain molecules could no longer form.
They would
under the
change
conditions they
everything.
do. I mean, things would be really messed up. Yeah.
Right. That's why it about made me jump out of my skin when he said that. I'm like, because everything we know about physics and partially quantum mechanics depends on the speed of light being constant.
Yes.
Exactly.
Now-
That's why you guys got
now-
so triggered when I said it. The whole
No,
religion.
I don't think you- I can't-
The whole
it
religion,
wasn't-
oh my God. The whole religion depends on the speed of light.
Hey, hold on. It's not that anyone was triggered. It's I think we were all dumbfounded by that.
Yeah,
the
these are
sheer idiot-
words.
I think
Wonton-
light is like
Wonton-
your guy's Jesus or something.
Wonton. These are
Like you need light.
Another fallacy.
Wonton. These words you use, you don't use them correctly. I don't think you know what the word trigger means, because the word you're using, triggered, is not how any of us would use that word.
Oh no, you just all went into an outrage, and that doesn't mean
That's not because we're triggered. We are literally dumbfounded by flat earthers.
I was flabbergasted.
Can we note that when we're talking about speed of light being a constant, we are talking about in a vacuum? We are not talking about as it transits material.
Yeah, we pointed that out.
Correct.
Point. I've just lost interest in the conversation. Was watching Pornhub. So if this is what it's like to be triggered, then I want to be triggered all day long.
Citation.
Citation.
Go ahead and send you videos of that.
If you don't cite it, rhetoric, it's not true.
Okay,
You're talking out your ass. Cite it.
I got two things. Landon, call me privately sometime because I want to know how to measure the speed of light in the ways you did. Two,
okay.
The reason we are flabbergasted about you just saying, "Oh, the speed of light changed," and why we're so fascinated by your citation, if you ever provide it. Oh, I think you might have right there.
Which you didn't.
No, that's the big G. That's the big G change.
Well, that's not C. Anyway.
Yeah, we asked for C. He talked about
you
BG.
really don't understand the implications of what you said. You're like, oh, it's your religion.
That is a constant that is dependent on your religion to be true. That is shown to change.
Okay, don't interrupt me either. Just because you don't know who
you
I
just
am
asked me a
doesn't mean
question. So
Yeah,
I didn't. I wasn't finished.
Wonton.
Okay.
Wonton. And by the way, that's another straw man, because there could be indications that the speed of light could have changed in the Planck scale at some point, but that's beyond your base level here. So let's not get into that.
Landon explained it. He said what he was talking about is it literally changes everything. Certain things could not exist the way they are if the speed of light had changed.
Right.
And by the way, we continue to measure the speed of light because we're trying to see, does it change? I mean, the people are trying to test that thing. It's one of the reasons why it keeps being measured.
Well, I think they don't really bother with it anymore because, like I said, recently we usually do experiments to get a number for constant. Light is a very different thing. Light is actually now defined to be 299,792,459 meters per second. That's what is by definition assigned to be, because we've tested it. We know that's what it is.
But Steve, one of the things that they're doing in astrophysics is that they're trying to conduct observational experiments near black holes.
Right.
Because they're trying to do stuff around the Big Bang again to continue to verify. So one of the things that Wonton did with this little cute thing about what's a religion is it is constantly being challenged by science to see if perhaps speed of light might be slowly changing or may have changed in the early universe. And so one of the things we're doing is doing experiments to test that.
It's funny you mentioned that because there was a study. I think they're refining it now that they got more Planck data out there, but there was showing that there was a different directionality of the Fine-Strucker constant from one dipole of the universe to another dipole opposite. and it was minor. It was like very small, minute 6 something sigma bullshit of a difference in the fine structure, but it was marketably noticed. It was something there. Now I think they've resolved that, but if that was true, that would mean that at different portions of the universe, the speed of light is different because the speed of light is contingent upon that. It would have been a hell of a lot, but these things could have some variance to them.
So it's far from religion. It's actually being constantly challenged.
Yes, it's not a religious thing.
Tested. And if someone could come up and show that speed of light was different in some place or some time in the universe, that would be an amazing result,
right. So why would it be religious about it? They're doing studies to see if the fine structure constant is different.
They're challenging the current state. And finally, the measurement to Alpha Centauri, the measure of the sun, did not require the speed of light. I don't know where this came in, but it does not. As Red Rhetoric said, it's part of parallax.
Yeah, parallax doesn't involve. You don't need C for that.
No.
Also, as a side note, I just looked at your citation. The very first thing under the headline is new measurements of the gravitational constant confirm that the official value needs to be increased, and as John Moore reports, could explain what went wrong in a previous experiment. So if you understand English at all, they're not saying the gravitational constant has changed. They're saying they need to change the value.
Well, if you could read English and read the entire article before you spout your nonsense, it says on the bottom that what is most likely to happen when other results come out, says Quinn, the same guy, is that the value of G may be changed towards where we are now, and the uncertainty is going to be reduced probably by a factor of 10.
That's great.
So
that's great. You just confirmed it.
Okay, hang on.
That's what he said.
That's exactly what he said.
Hang on. Okay, this is the part where I just say fuck it, and I give you just as much respect. Maybe if you actually read the article before spewing your fucking nonsense, let me tell you about the value of the uncertainty in this own argue. 41 parts per million. That's the level of uncertainty you're dealing with, you fucking retard.
That's ridiculously small.
Does the speed of light change that much?
No, it's our uncertainty of it.
It's an uncertainty of 41 parts per million, you fucking shit.
No. I'm not going to let him get away with this. Wonton, you have a fundamental misunderstanding. The constant isn't changing. It is our number value that we're assigning to that constant.
It's a measurement.
Because of error measurement. So if we say, when we start off with, like I think Markham had mentioned, 16th century or something like that. Let's say we knew the speed of light was somewhere in around 200 some odd million kilometers per second. Whatever, it's gross measurement. As we defined it more by saying, by experiment, okay, it's closer to maybe 300 million kilometers per second. Okay, it's more 299 million kilometers per second. And we get a better precision of it. But the speed of light has not changed.
I'm going to go ahead and post this in the side chat. Thank you, Wonton, for providing us with even more evidence to show that we know the value of G to within accuracy of 0.0041.
That's pretty impressive.
By the way, you know that the value of G is different than the value of C.
Yeah.
They're two different things.
You know, although they are related.
I'm gonna add this to my list of evidence for our accuracy. Thank you, Wonton. Appreciate it.
Believe it or not. Hang on one second. Wonton, believe it or not, if you know certain measurements, if you know certain natural units like big G, speed of light, you don't even have to know their values. You can just use what's called quantitative analysis to derive other natural units. There's a relationship between all of them. And so we can derive what C is just by knowing values for other constants, believe it or not.
Okay.
But you have to use matrix theory. Do you know matrix theory is, by the way, not Keanu Reeves, just FYI. Nothing to do with it. And I've done that before. I've actually literally done that before. It's fun. You should try it.
It says here in the first sentence of the first paragraph of this article, ever since Henry Cavendish first measured Newton gravitational constant in 1798, the value of big G has remained the least accurate of all the fundamental physical constants.
Right.
Okay.
Indeed, when the most recent list of recommended values for fundamental constants was published in 1998, the uncertainty. See, you got to listen to the words that they're using.
We know what these words mean.
We know exactly what these words mean.
The uncertainty in G had increased by a factor of 10 from the previous list. So the previous time they did it,
do you really know what that means? Hold on.
When they did it again,
want you to explain this.
Yeah. And it was within the accuracy of 0.08 parts per million.
Guys. God,
All right, so Michael, go ahead, Michael.
The argument you're raising from this article is essentially saying because they went from using a bathroom scale to using a micro scale, gravity is wrong.
Yeah, he's not differentiating the difference between the fact that our measurement has gotten better rather than the actual constant change. He's reading that paper because, well,
right.
he doesn't know how to read anything
I'm saying
properly.
it's not much of a constant if it's constantly changing.
It's not
Wait,
constant.
it is a constant. It is a
Michael, I can explain
It's
this.
not that it's changing our understanding of how
I agree with you guys.
Hang on. Okay, Wonton. Oh my
God.
I want you to direct answer this. Do you think that paper has literally saying that the value of G in the universe, ontologically, not this our error measurement, the value itself has changed?
How do you find out ontologically of the value of G without?
I'm asking you the question. I'm asking you.
I'm asking you a question. I'm putting the question back at you.
Okay, then
how do you know the value of G?
That's a fallacy.
No, it's not a fallacy. How do you know
it
it
is?
Wonton, you know me. I don't play this bullshit game. I ask a direct answer. You're not going to answer a question in return. Do you or do you not read that paper? Because we all understand. All it's saying is we are redefining the measurement. So here's what G is. It's a fact in the universe. It doesn't care what we think about it. It's a objective fact. Let's just call it 1. Let's normalize it. So it has a normalization value of 1. Okay? Now when we measure that, we may get 0.9, we might get 0.95, we might get 1.02. But as Michael pointed out, the better equipment we get, the smaller the error range. And so we're going to get it closer and closer. And eventually we're going to say, you know what? It's 1, right? But the value itself, the constant in the universe, has not given a damn what we measure it by. It has not changed. So I'm asking you, are you saying that value of G has changed or just our measurement of it?
The value of the invisible unicorn has never changed.
Okay, you're an idiot. I'm done. He's done. He won't. At this point, he's trolling. He won't answer a simple question. So
yeah,
you can move on.
You don't know what the value is.
Wonton, you're done.
Wonton.
That wasn't even what he was asking.
You're done.
Yeah, by the fact that also to point this out, how accurate was Cavendish when he initially set out to try to find the value of G? Do you know the answer to that?
Do you know if he even did the experiment?
Yes.
Were you alive in 1798? Did you know?
Oh my God!
Answer my question.
Were you there? Actually, Wonton,
you're done. I'm kicking him out. I'm done. We're moving on to other things.
Wonton, I read his paper. Why? Because I did the experiment.
Landon was probably
I
there.
have done the Cavendish experiment, and how did I do that? I went back to his original paper, read it, and repeated.
All right, everybody do their last things to Wonton. We're already at 3 hours anyways.
All right, Wonton.
Say goodbye to him in your own way, then I'm going to kick him out.
So once again, you have not answered my question. Said you decided to be a jackass. So not only was I able to shove the dildo up your ass sideways, paint it to look like a Scud missile, but you just demonstrated how much of an intellectually dishonest piece of fucking dog shit you are, and how you don't even read your own goddamn sources. Using the source that you provide us, we show that Cavendish was accurate to within 1% of today's accepted value. Yet you see that as a big fucking problem. Hey, you want to know what the error margin is of the flat earth? Fucking infinity, because it has no explanatory power. That's why you motherfuckers have not been able to produce a model worth a damn, and yet you are harping on us because we can't get an accuracy any lower than 41 parts per million. Go fuck yourself.
All right, Wonton, you got 30 seconds.
The title of the article.
Wonton, you got 30 seconds, and then you're gone. Wonton, you got 30, because I want to make sure that nobody can say, you're shutting Wonton up. Wonton, you're an idiot. 30 seconds. Do your shtick, say whatever the fuck you want, throw whatever the bullshit against the wall, and then leave, because you're not going to answer any questions. Well, that's what Red's got.
Or whatever. Go and.
Yeah, all right, take a minute. I can go masturbate or something. I don't know. Whatever.
Take a whole minute.
Okay.
Take a minute. You got a minute.
So you asked, how do you ontologically know the value of G? And then I asked you, well, how do you know it? If you need to measure it, you need to do experiments to be able to measure it. And all the experiments that are being done to measure it, every time they do it, they get a different value. So it's basically not a constant, because this constant of light is always the same, but the constant of G is always changing. So there's basically definitely a contradiction in your theory of constants. If every time they measure the constants, it's 10 times higher this time, it's 10 times lower that time, it's 10 times, it's 100 times lower that time. So it's basically gravity is completely full of shit. There's absolutely not a single shred of evidence whatsoever pull gravity. And I would like to ask Landon.
No. You don't get to ask shit. This is your closer. Fuck you. You don't get to ask Landon a goddamn motherfucking thing because you don't listen to what he has to say anyways. He's the motherfucking smartest person in the room, and you treat him like shit. So fuck the fuck off. Finish your 30 seconds and get the fuck out. There you go.
I did not treat Landon like shit. I never said one disrespectful thing towards Landon. Thank you very much.
Yes, you have been.
No.
You're basically calling him a liar. That he is.
I'm not calling him a liar. I'm literally going to ask him a question. If he went through the same exact procedure and methodology that Cavendish went through, when Cavendish did the experiment, he actually sat outside of the barn 100 feet away with the telescope, and he looked through the telescope through the hole in the side of a barn to be able to make the measurements because he didn't want his own gravity to interfere with the test. So did you actually do that yourself? Did you stand 100 feet away with a telescope and look at the measurements yourself? Was the air in the room the exact same temperature? Was a radiator on? Was there a draft in the room? Did somebody go into the room? Because when you look at the test online of the YouTube experiments, the guy accidentally opened the door, and when he opened the door, the things accidentally moved a little because the little bit of air drift moved just ever so slightly, and it made the apparatus move a little bit to the left. And he's like, and he actually cursed.
Why are we listening to this guy
He
bitch?
was like, oh, fuck.
It's been over 30 seconds.
Well, I'm curious.
Fuck this guy.
He was like, oh, fuck, I messed up. He was like, oh, fuck, I
He doesn't care about the methodology.
And then he had a
he's
redo
still
the entire
talking.
test.
I can get some answers on there.
He had to redo the entire test because the door accidentally.
And Wonton's still bitching.
All right, Wonton.
He doesn't stop.
Yeah,
Okay, so I guess he's done right. By the way, as I say, the Cavendish experiment is tricky, and as you say, you have to essentially do isolation, and that's one of the things that we did. In fact, one of the nice things we did, instead of having to do direct line of sight over the barn, we were able to take cameras and instrumentation and send it out to an area. It was in a sealed part. It was done, and part of our mass done was done in a hydroelectric dam where the thing was isolated way in the base, and no one got near it. We were able to have accelerometers to make sure there wasn't vibrations involved in it, and we also changed. We redid it with when the water table was quite high versus low. So actually had a mass change next to the dam, which also made a local change. We also did a measurement with that set. But there was two methods. But you're correct. One of the things in learning from Cavendish, what he had to do is you had to do essentially to avoid contaminating the signal. You have to go through some steps. But fortunately, we have things like electronics, like cameras, where we can be remote and not have mass move around in the experiment, and then ran it again when the water table was low, because we had a change in local mass. Where we could also measure the mass of the reservoir as well.
Yep.
Yes.
Also, just a question for everyone. This is more of an opinion rather than a scientific question. Does everyone see why I treated Wonton like absolute dog shit the last time?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a firm believer. If you want respected beliefs, you have to have respectable beliefs.
Yeah.
That's a really good. I like that. Right?
Yeah.
Good one, Michael.
See, I'm more than happy to have a respectful conversation with everyone, but this dude literally flew off the handle, even though I haven't said anything bad to him, because I was told not to by Steve, lest I get my own ass chewed out.
I just said don't use
And
fallacies.
I was disappointingly proud of you.
Yeah, so basically, the
I
next time I get
proud of you
told to not go full Red's rhetoric, I just want you to know, you all are setting yourselves up for disappointment.
This is true.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that that he. I was going to ask him if he was there to witness the Cavendish experiment with his own eyes, and if not, how could he prove that it happened?
But I say it really is an interesting. I think there's a more positive thing, which is how do we measure G, and what is some of the work, and then going and doing the work yourself. And that was why that I realized that G was an important thing. And so that was part of the experiment. The student I went through and said, let's actually do the experiment, and looking at people that have done Cavendish. By the way, there's a number of papers where people repeated Cavendish experiments and
it's done every year.
Yeah, and improved on the techniques.
So yeah, it's quite surprising that repetition in science is a thing. Like, oh, the door accidentally opened and made a change. Oh, I guess we're gonna go with whatever botched value that might have caused. Oh wait, no, we repeated
exactly.
it.
Hey, one thing that I did want to do, and this is to anybody that has access, is I actually wanted to do the Cavendish experiment myself and record the entire process and post it on my channel so people know that yes, this value is not something that we're pulling out of our asses. This is something that we've actually measured. So if anybody knows anybody that has access to this equipment or universities that are doing this, I would very much like in on that, just so I can document the entire process.
Well, let me go and ask around in terms of anyone repeating that, because I remember when I did it. I was doing it in 1980, I think was when I did it, and people said it's a notoriously difficult experiment to do.
Yeah, and also Rags, you get my email?
Oh, I haven't checked yet. I've been fucking playing video games.
But Rez, I'll just, because I know, Rez, that one of the things that people have asked, and one of the reasons for repeating it was there was initial claim that the density of the material might somehow change G. And so we used, equivalent masses of different densities of balls and a torsion thing to verify that was something. And this has been something that people have been working on to make sure that it's independent, that G is independent of the density of the material.
Right, and that's something originally they may have suspected, right? That they think that when they first started formulating things about gravity, people didn't know exactly what it was. Matter of fact, Einstein was revolutionary. The fact that he was relating it to like literally a manifold, a space-time manifold, and saying this is what gravity is. It's the fact that it's a region of lower potential from a region of a higher potential in a gravitational field of space-time. That was like unheard of. They're like, what the fuck is that, dude? Right? That was so contrary to what laws of motion were from Newton, because Newton was all, no man, you have a force applied, you have a change in vector, blah blah, and that's all gravity is. But he didn't really know what gravity was. But no, Einstein really formulated by going, no. It's actually because of a differential in the field. There's actually a field involved. And that's what I think when you have people like Wonton, when he's talking about gravity, he doesn't even know what the Newtonian version of gravity was. He certainly doesn't know what general theory of relativity is. And he doesn't know any of these terms. And so the problem is that he's trying to convince people that he's right, but he's an imbecilic, moronic idiot who hasn't had first-year fucking science.
He couldn't even understand margin of error.
So, exactly. So why would he think that he's able to convince anybody? I don't understand why flat earthers go out of their way to be stupid. I don't understand it.
Well, the thing is that because in constantly being ignorant, they can continue to deny the facts. Now, if he is having such a big problem with our model because we have an uncertainty that's literally 41 parts per million, then I have to ask the question of why the actual fuck he's following flat Earth in that case. Why the double standard?
I call their thing being smart in the wrong direction. They're well versed in idiocy.
I like that.
They're well versed in idiocy.
They are.
Well, it's not being smart in the wrong direction. At some point, you come to a level where it's just sheer dishonesty.
Yeah. But he reached that point. When he responds to me in a way that's not a direct answer, you're at the level of dishonesty. That's when you have to go.
Exactly. And here's the thing. When it comes to dishonesty, people ask me, why am I like this to flat earthers? Because when you get that way, that is not respect. That's the exact opposite of respect. And it's just like what Michael said at the very beginning. You got to give respect to get it.
And we did give respect. We even told one time, look, you talk to Reds and just don't do any fallacies, because that's when we'll interject, and Nacha will say if you guys are stepping over each other. He couldn't stop but repeating himself 5,000 times. You would say something, every time you start up again, he would say something. That's their shtick. They don't let you finish a complete sentence, and that's to throw you off your game. It's dishonest. It's not an intellectual way to have a conversation. We notice it. We're not ignorant of how that tactic is used. It doesn't fly in here.
Yeah,
it just
exactly.
doesn't fly. I won't allow it, because That's not an honest way to have a conversation. I approach you honestly. I want to talk to you. Reg wants to talk to you. Don't pull these little fucking childish little techniques like to throw people off their game, because it doesn't do any good, because this is basic shit to us. We've done this for fucking years.
Yeah, exactly. Also, guys, let me go ahead and just say my piece, and then I am going to go. I have to edit a game video that needs to be uploaded by tomorrow. So
What game? Fortnite?
Oh,
no, not Fortnite. It's the one I just finished was DearEvil.exe, and then the next one is going to be Harvester.
Huh, indie titles. Cool.
Yeah, well, it's not for me. It's actually for the girlfriend.
Mine or yours?
You're saying women aren't good enough to edit their own videos?
No, she just does the gaming, and I do the editing because she told me to.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're cucking, she's lazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's fair.
So by the way, there's another thing I can put a citation, but it's gone. That the gravitational constant was shown using Tycho Ia supernovae has varied less than 1 part in 10 billion over the last 9 billion years.
Oh wow.
Nice. So also the deal is this: is that Rags get in contact with me. Steve, go fuck yourself.
I read your email. I read your email.
Is it working?
Is what working? The email?
Yes.
Yes, I got it.
Okay, stop
Okay,
sending
cool.
unsolicited dick pics, man.
So basically, the speed of light is working, and that's why the dick pics are now on your screen.
Science is great.
And Landon, if you can go ahead and pull some strings and talk to that one guy at that one place about that one thing, so I can record that one observation, that would be great.
Oh, you're talking about the doing the measurement on G.
Yeah, the thing with the place and the guy.
Yeah, the Cavendish experiment.
That sounds like a really bad Saturday night college drinking thing.
Now, let me go and see, because I say there was a bunch of work that was done because they're doing the new standard units, and G, by the way, is no longer one of the standard units, and it's now a derived item. But let me go back, because there are people that are working on checking the value of G, and let me go back and see if I can channel it to find out someone because you'd like to actually take pictures of or interview or see the apparatus.
I would want to do 3 things. I would want to film the apparatus. I, of course, am not going to be anywhere near where they're actually doing this shit because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But I want to see the apparatus. I want somebody there to tell me how it works. And then I want to go over the mathematics that are employed when deriving the value of G.
Okay, let me ask around. As I say, I know that it was done, but I suspect that people will continue to check it. So next time I hear of someone thinking of starting up one of those things, I will put you in touch with them.
All right, guys, it's been absolutely fun in quotes. I smashed my face against my desk multiple times. So
we try, please.
Yeah.
So
thanks, you Reg.
And check on the side chat the link about the Cypress supernovae showing you the how G has not varied by more than 1 part in 10 billion or last 9 billion years. That's a pretty good. You talk about constant, right? That would be one of the things that I tried to.
Exactly. So. And Rags, I'll send you a more detailed email about what the fuck I'm on about. Michael, I did see you sent me a request on Facebook. I don't have a a book. So you're going to have to get in contact with me through like G+ or something like that. I mean, I have a Twitter, so they're all the same, Red's Rhetoric. So that's the only way you can get in contact with me.
Yeah, I'll grab you on G+.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a Facebook, but he saw that you sent a notification.
All right, guys.
I've never heard someone say that. I'll use G+. I've never actually heard someone say that before.
Oh, thanks again.
There's a reason, right? That the people use G+. All right, Reds. All right, so it's been on 3 hours. So we're gonna wrap this up. So I am over 1 million now. So I do appreciate
Congratulations again. And I say and by the way, it's constraining possible variations of G does not mean G is varying. It means that if it did vary, it's less than essentially 1 part in what was it? Again, 1 part.
Yeah, I could have gotten. Let's be honest. I could have gotten specific, and even these constants may have a range possibility of themselves. He doesn't understand how error bars work. He doesn't understand constant work.
Doesn't understand.
So to get into the technical stuff would be beyond him anyway.
We have data to show that in the last 9 billion years, it has not been. It probably has varied 0, but it certainly has not very more than
Sure,
one
but if you
part
say-
in 10 billion.
Let's
One
say-
part in 10 billion.
Let's say you normalize it. Let's just say 1 plus or minus 41 parts per billion, right? I mean,
Yeah.
So that's a small amount of variance that it's going to have on that normalization. So
Yeah. If it had varied more than 1 part in 10 billion, the supernova data would show it.
Yeah.
And it hasn't.
yeah. So I mean, we
Very
do
good.
understand this could be some variance in a constant, but again, way too go over his head. But anyways, we're gonna wrap this up. Notch, you got
Thanks
anything?
again.
Yep. Notch, you got anything you want to like promote real quick, buddy?
No, not really. I mean, I just did an interview with Chris Shelton, former Scientologist. That'd be pretty cool if you check that out on my channel, Not Jail Witness.
Wow.
And we have Ron Miscavige coming up very soon.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm wanting to get him as well, actually.
So was this a Scientologist that was deep into the organization or just...
Yes. Yeah, no, 25 years he grew up in it, and he was 17 years in the Sea Org. He met the son, the guy in charge, David Miscavige.
David Miscavige.
He's also assistant to the seasons for Leah Remini's Aftermath, and he was in the first season. So yeah, no, he's pretty involved.
I would like to get Leah. That'd be really cool.
My goodness.
What I like to find, and more ways to one giggity. What I like to find is a Scientologist that's actually active. They're like a golden unicorn.
Yeah, good luck.
They're hard to get. Yeah.
Now, if it was like 15 years ago, it'd been easy because they were inundating the internet, trying to bullshit people. But then,
trying to get the positive side of them before the negative came
But
out.
after South Park, that changed radically. So, all right. So, complaints department. You got anything you want to like wrap up with?
Just come see us at Atheistically Speaking on Facebook.
Okay, rock on. Max, you got anything?
Well, the flat earther lost me the second he said that we see the same stars all year round, and don't miss the transit of Mercury in 2019 because we're not going to see Venus before we die. So have fun with that.
Okay.
Yeah. That'd be a nice transit of Mercury. I highly recommend it.
All right. Rags, you got anything? Now you know.
Man, I got nothing. I really got nothing. I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
I'm so
I was
happy you
listening,
dropped by because I
but
like
then-
talking to you, but I know these kind of do boring you. But dude, I'm telling you, we've got get Ian. This was actually going to be more. I was hoping social justice stuff because I've been really binge watching like things like Louder with Crowder and a few other stuff. That's your area, so we've got to have a talk about that because I really want to like vent some shit. So
I'm sure we could mix in the speed of light into it somehow. I'm sure there's a way.
Well, because there's one of the things that physics departments are getting thrown out is you have essentially a male centric or male dominated or a version of physics, and that
they're
feminist standpoint theory.
There's no objective science.
That's literally feminist standpoint theory.
It's all gendered, and so science is gendered, and blah blah blah. So yeah, you think you're safe? You ain't safe. Nothing's fucking safe.
Can you?
ain't
And by the way, I generally don't use Discord. Can you on Twitter? Come on, can you like DM me?
I have a Twitter. I can DM you on Twitter. What is your Twitter?
I've just Steve McRae _.
Can you put
I follow you.
on the side chat?
There it is. I know. I have to look it up though. There, I can message.
I don't use Discord
There,
message.
Now you could DM me.
I don't want to
back.
DM you. I don't want to DM you. You DM me. Tell me, hey Steve.
It's too late. I DM'd you. It's too late. What has begun cannot be undone.
Oh God! All right, so we'll find a night that you're available. Make it happen. Come on here.
Yeah, I would be really interested to hear some of your stuff on this, on this sort of social stuff.
Well, we would try. I want to get.
Your mind.
I wouldn't mind. We're supposed to go on Rags channel and do something too. I don't think this would be a great topic for. I don't know. Maybe we'll get creamed if we do on Rags channel, but I don't know that much about it.
The flat earthers on my channel, they're just they're rough. It's rough.
You get flat earthers on your channel?
Oh, no.
But it is. It's for us to try to trying to bring up, for example, people in physics that happen to be female, and they're saying, but they're actually being brainwashed by the the male patriarchy to perpetuate patriarchal physics.
Yes, and I really want to dive into that. So can you make that happen, Rags?
Or can they provide an example of how it would be different?
It's bizarre. It's bizarre.
Yeah, basically the crossover between how social justice is genderizing, I suppose, for lack of a better term, the scientific method. In essence, generally this is looked at through the frame of the West versus the rest of the world.
Western white man scientific methodologies.
Go West.
I mean,
So-
it's not our fault. West is the best.
So universities are being pressured to say in your physics degree you have to have a course on social justice, something or other. I mean, I don't know
Gender
this.
studies. You have to
Gender
use
studies, saying,
neutral
from
pronouns.
the scientific point of view, so that you can at least be exposed to the non-patriarchal form of science.
Yeah.
I'm going to subject my own conspiracy theory here and say this is a way for liberal arts majors to get jobs teaching classes.
I've
Well,
said
actually,
that's not even a conspiracy. That's
No, that really is the case, because they're saying, you need to have a chair in your physics department of somebody who specializes in gender studies, so they can teach proper gender neutral science to majors.
Oh God,
make it a requirement.
I can't.
Or not.
Yeah, there's it's the idea that basically gender and societal structures of institutionalized patriarchal blah blah blahs buzzwords they taint the scientific process, and it's
I will do this,
and it needs
Rex.
more.
You get the night you're available. I will see if King Crocoduck is available for that discussion, because I know he loves feminist.
Oh yes, he would great on there.
That would be great.
King Crocoduck.
I think I've only talked to him once, but I really like his videos.
Yeah, great. So I know he would be really thrilled for something like that. So let's try to arrange something like that. But anyways, see Andrew, my buddy Andrew, I will get with you in the next couple of days for Linux and with Landon, so you can reinstall my grub loader. Wonton is a screwball. Yes.
Yep.
And,
Linux equals bad.
And you're an idiot. I'm going to kill you. No, I'm just kidding. Linux is great, dude. Linux is awesome. And Michael, last but not
If
least.
you want to do a debate on Windows versus Linux,
I'm not getting on that. I don't know too much technical stuff.
I'm sorry.
Which
I was
one?
just-
Which one doesn't
I'm just
crash?
kidding, I'm kidding.
Which one doesn't crash as much? Oh, that would be Linux.
Oh well, you might have a point there.
And Michael, like I said, is first rum and coke night. What'd you think?
I thought it was great. One thing I very rarely ever see touched on. It normally gets glassed over when we're talking about knowledge. And I had really good professor tell me one time that knowledge is simply belief proportional to the amount and quality of evidence.
Yeah, and that's something to be said for that. I mean, you can't have belief without knowledge, right? So if you have belief and you have more evidence and more confidence, at some point, if you meet the criteria for the theories of knowledge, then you can say you have knowledge. So I would agree with that, actually.
And so when you have people that can't even come to a fundamental understanding of what knowledge is, it's practically impossible to ever engage them.
Well, because he fails on everything. He fails in physics, fails in math, fails in epistemology, fails in philosophy. It's just flat earthers. You have to fail literally across the board on any of these subjects. They've never.
And
come to
Michael,
school.
you raise a very good point, because oftentimes people say, well, you're wrong, so therefore I'm right, or I don't like your evidence, therefore
false dichotomy.
Yeah,
therefore
I
you're wrong.
I like to be the guy in the room that's always like, well, what if we've been wrong for hundreds of years?
Well, did you guys see the other night though, like that SI guy, that Southern Israelite? He made the most bizarre argumentation that I've ever heard, that he is going to use a disjunctive syllogism, such that if he disproves Red's, it inherently proves his own.
Yes.
Oh my.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Foundational incredulity.
And then he's like, "Well, what do you mean, Steve? You don't accept how a disjunctive syllogism works?" Yes, I do, but you're not using it right. It's okay. It's just you're not using it right. But it was bizarre because he thinks that was positive evidence. He thinks, well, my positive evidence is disproving Red's evidence, not with a disjunctive syllogism or worse, monostolens.
I mean, that's the ultimate false dichotomy, right?
Oh, it was bizarre. I just never ran across that one before. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this. I know we went really long, 4 hours. It's late.
But congratulations to the
Yes, absolutely.
channel.
Now if I get to 1 million subs,
With a million.
well, even just the 10,000 subs on this channel. The other channel we're pushing 15,000.
But congratulations everyone involved in Non Sequitur. You really do deserve a lot of praise for getting to 1 million views as fast. You've done a lot
Well,
of
how
hard
come
work.
all those subs don't sub to this channel? Out of curiosity, we have there's 3 times as many subs on twice as many subs on Non Sequitur.
It's all for Kyle.
Yeah, they're all here for Kyle's hair.
It must be for Kyle's hair.
It's your radioactive hair, Steve. That's the problem.
Oh, also, before we go offline, just remember, I've said it once, I'm going to say it again. The speed of light died for your sins.
Good night.